Hello, hello, hello. Can anyone hear me? Do that again, Ty?
Test. Oh, there we go. Testing 1 2. Test test test. 1 2 3. Can you hear me?
Okay, yeah, I got you. You're good.
Are we on YouTube yet?
Yeah, you just got on.
Okay. Welcome to Watson Stadium. Getting ready for the pregame show here in about 5 or so minutes. Hobbs taking on El Paso Parkland. Last non-district game of the season for the Hobbs Eagles, and against a Texas team. The El Paso Parkland squad has not played a Texas, or a New Mexico team, I should say, for over 20 years. So this is a kind of a new situation for them. Of course, Eagles next week open up district against Las Cruces High, and that will be here at Watson Stadium. So we will have that game broadcast next week as well. But right now, teams just come out in the field getting their practice session in. It's going to be El Paso Parkland wearing white uniforms, black numbers, and gold trim. And your Hobbs Eagles, the home uniform, black with the gold numbers. So that will be the two squads for you. The Eagles with a 1-2 record, losing last week in overtime to Roswell, and El Paso Parkland trying to get their first win of the season at 0-2. We'll take a quick break. We will start the pregame show here in about 5 minutes exactly. So 6:40, we're going to come on the air. Hobbs Eagle football. Game number 4 here at Watson Stadium. Welcome live to Watson Stadium. Time for Hobbs Eagle football. Live on the radio, Cool 95.7, on the internet at hobbsamerica.com. Ty Friend along with Ron Gunter tonight and Tiffany Stuber at the station. Of course, Evie Stuber there as well. Lots of games in Lee County. And this, the feature one tonight, is your Hobbs Eagles face El Paso Parkland, the Matadors. Final game of the district schedule as the Eagles take on a Texas team, Ron. El Paso Parkland has not played a New Mexico team for over 20 years, so they had their first taste of that. They have gotten out of El Paso once in a while during the playoffs, going to Lubbock a few times, to Amarillo, but they stay most of their season in El Paso. Plenty of teams down there to play, but tonight they've got the Zia State on the road.
Yeah, and it should be interesting to see how both teams react to each other. You know, Hobbs is not mainly a passing team by any means, but they have been known to at least try to get some down the field, while El Paso Matadors, they are definitely, the Parklands, they are trying to get just on the ground and run. So expect to see two different kind of offenses. Maybe the defense is a little bit different as well, but definitely going to see something different and something unusual, hopefully tonight, as Hobbs comes out here and tries to get back on the winning side.
Boy, a nail-biter last week in Roswell at the Wool Bowl. The Eagles losing in overtime, 37-35. They did not get the two-point conversion to get into a second overtime. But this thing was nip and tuck throughout the game, Ron. I mean, no scoring in the first quarter, so that should kind of tell you right there what's kind of the juggernaut we had going on. A total of 36 points put on the scoreboard in the second quarter. Roswell led 21-15 at the half, so majority of the scoring in that second quarter for both teams.
Exactly. It looked like it could be possibly a runaway for Roswell as they had a 14-0 lead. Then it turned around with a kickoff return that broke open the game a little bit, as they say, and Hobbs looked like they were back on track. They ended up getting 14 unanswered points in that quarter, like you said, and it sort of looked like it was going to be a back and forth again. Roswell getting the last score on a last-ditch effort. It could have been easily, if it would have been not in the end zone, it would have been the end of the quarter, and it would have been tied at 14-all. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. Roswell went in with the lead and pretty much held on to it for the remainder of the game.
You mentioned that kickoff return. Hobbs was down 14-0 at that point in the second quarter early. Gabriel Henry returning for close to 90 yards, about 88.5, into the end zone for the touchdown. So Hobbs started to come back after that. They were only down by 6 at the half. Of course, we had the two brothers hooking up with each other in the game as well for the Eagles, as Brock Beatty hit Braddock Beatty as well for a 29-yard touchdown. And then Brandon Lee hit Gabriel Henry in the end zone for the two-point conversion. So Hobbs had their first lead of the game at 15-14 again, but Roswell did score before the end of the second quarter for that lead at halftime. Third quarter, Justice French got involved. Big catch for him for 9 yards for a touchdown. Also, Austin Chavarria had a 3-yard touchdown catch as well. So Hobbs nip and tuck, as we said, throughout this game. Brock Beatty had the final score for the Eagles, a 1-yard touchdown run going straight up the gut for the score. The two-point conversion was not converted for the Eagles, so ended up losing to Roswell by the 2 points. Pretty much the problem with the game was the two turnovers that they did have. 45-yard fumble return off a quarterback loss there for the Eagles. Roswell did return that for a score, and then a pick six from 46 yards back made it 29-28. Actually, Hobbs was up 29-28 at that point. Roswell got the pick six to take the lead again. So there was a couple of lead changes there throughout the game, but two big turnovers. Roswell had 0. Those two turnovers cost the Eagles. We kind of reminisce on what happened in game one with the bad snaps that we had against Lovington, which was a downfall. We got into that big hole early and ended up being down by a couple of touchdowns there. Had a little bit of a comeback in the third, just couldn't get over the hump.
Right.
That game against Roswell could have been a winnable game, but those two scores on defense were probably a big costly part of the loss in that one.
And I know that Brock Beatty took it to heart. He said himself that he felt responsible for that loss, and it was those mistakes that keyed it. Of course, there were other opportunities, but Hobbs was just not able to get into it enough to where they could get that win. They did play well, though. I will give them that, so nothing wrong with that. But, yeah, I know Brock, for a fact, took that game to heart, and this time around I'm sure he's going to try his best to play the perfect game and go from here on, especially since next week is going to be district, and you got to be not perfect, but it's got to be as close to perfect as you can if you want to win against these strong teams.
And I went through that game last week watching Hobbs. The offense was not very potent in that contest, but you had to start remembering Roswell played some tough defense. Their number 2 team out of 5A last year in the championship game lost to Artesia. So Hobbs had to work for what they got. The rushing game just wasn't there, 57 yards. The best carrier for him, Seamus Wright, the sophomore, he had 20 on the ground, so that definitely was not the go-to part of the game for the Hobbs Eagle offense. Passing department, they did get 182 in that area. So that did help their cause a little bit. Isaiah Rodriguez with 5 catches for 77 yards. The problem, though, he went down bad. He got a back injury. Talking with the coaches today about that. Got his back kind of bent backwards, and he was helped off the field. I mean, lifted off the field. He wasn't doing it on his own for sure. Very doubtful he's going to be starting tonight, and is very doubtful he might not even get to play in this ball game. He's probably the one on the list right now that is going to be kind of a very iffy situation, but he was a leading receiver in that game regardless.
Right.
A couple other guys that came in too and got injured. Amarian Kennedy went down with an ankle injury. They carted him off. He had a very straight leg as they took him off. I thought he was going to be out for good. He came back in the game. They're going to get that ankle taped up real well and hopefully get to see him today. Also, Brock Beatty, the quarterback, on that fumble, talking with the coaches today as well, he got his complete helmet turned around his head. His head was kind of spinning inside the helmet. They felt that he was being held on to a legal hold by the defense on Roswell. That's when the ball coughed up and back for the touchdown for the Coyotes. So that wasn't the best situation there, but didn't get injured, but it could have been a potential injury with that helmet spinning around a little bit there. But Kennedy and Rodriguez, the two guys, are hopefully going to stay out in the field tonight, and we'll have to wait and see. It's a game-time situation, especially for Rodriguez in that game. But they finished up again with 182 in the passing department. We mentioned 77 yards. A couple of guys getting in the 20 area. Amarian Kennedy caught 2 for 28 as well, and Gabriel Henry had 3 catches for 19. Also had the big 88-yard return for a touchdown on the kickoff. Hobbs offense 239 compared to 346 for Roswell. Roswell pretty balanced too, 194 in the rushing game, 152 in the passing game to get that win. I think the other big difference in the game was clock management and keeping control of the football. Roswell had a major advantage with first downs. They had 20 compared to only 9 for the Eagles.
Yeah, but you got to kind of look at it this way. Last year in Hobbs wasn't able to score against Roswell till near the end of the fourth quarter, and they only had 6 points. This time around, they go to Roswell, and they're tough in their home at Wool Field or Wool Bowl, and it was just 35 points, but still much better than last time. So that's an improvement in my books, and no matter how you say it, yes, I know that Hobbs lost, but they won in so many other ways. They got so many things right that those few things that they got wrong, you can't really nitpick on them. You just got to learn from them and move on.
That's correct. Definitely something that the Eagles need to be looking ahead to district coming up next week as well. In terms of that game, Hobbs defense, the leading tackler for Hobbs, linebacker Aiden Glum. Really getting to see a good look from him the last couple of weeks. He had 15 tackles in that game. His teammate Tristan Davis with 12. 8 of those were solo, so he's kind of like a missile, heat-seeking missile out there. Davis in that linebacking core, he's going to find you with the football and going to take you down. A couple other guys, Sonny Baeza, the linebacker, had 9 tackles in the game. And that's pretty much it for the Eagles in terms of their top defense. 5 tackles for losses in the contest the Eagles got against Roswell. Even though they lost, defense was holding pretty stout in this game. Very close. You mentioned a couple lead changes in the contest. Take away the start of the game where they were down 14-0. Defense, you mentioned this many times in that game Friday, was that they were out on the field way too long. And that 20-9 first down margin there really kind of shows that stat.
Yeah, and Roswell just was able to move the ball, not quite at will, but close to will at certain times. In fact, at the end of the first half, it looked like Hobbs, all they needed to do was get a stop. And Roswell was determined to get that final score, and they did. They were able to lunge in for that final score, get it across, and that was not quite the difference, but it did make a big difference in the second half as far as Roswell being able to play a little bit easier and just lay back and have Hobbs come to them and try to get them to make the first move.
Eagles' opponent tonight, El Paso, coming in, of course, right off the Purple Heart Highway there, the closest high school you could get to in El Paso, Parkland. The Matadors 0-2 on the season. They lost last week to El Paso Riverside 32-20. They punted the ball 6 times in that contest. Quarterback Jesse Molina, 19 of 30 in the passing game for 142. No touchdowns thrown, though, and no interceptions. So got some yards, but really didn't punch it home in terms of scoring. Jordan Reese, one of his receivers, 7 catches for 71 yards to lead the squad in the receiving core. 3 other receivers in the 20s in that game for this El Paso Parkland team. But the big numbers coming from the running game, Jaden Macias, 26 carries, 165 yards, about 6.5 a pop. He definitely can move the football up the field. We got the national anthem starting here at Watson Stadium. Hobbs versus El Paso Parkland. We'll come back in 90 seconds on the Hobbs Eagle Network. Back here at Watson Stadium, the national anthem completed, and now the Hobbs Eagle fight song going on here with the Tasker Band. Not the Taskervich Band. They have the marching band here for the football games, of course. We'll have a halftime show. Ty, friend Ron Gunner here at the stadium tonight. Hobbs Eagles taking on El Paso Parkland. Right before the break, we just started talking about the Parkland Matadors' 0-2 record, losing to El Paso Riverside last week, 32-20. Parkland got 414 yards in that game, thanks to mostly from Macias's 165 rushing yards. The running back also had a big kickoff return, too, so he's definitely a threat. 2 touchdowns in the running game for the Matadors. So Hobbs got to be ready for that running game. They outdistanced El Paso, the other squad that they played in that one, Riverside, 414 to 288, but still lost the game by 12. And that's happened twice this season. They also lost game 1 to Ysleta, 34 to 26. In that game, they had more yards as well, 403 to 390. So they tend to do pretty good things on offense, but they're just not getting over that hump to get the victory, so that's why they're 0-2. Again, we got to watch out for Macias. He had 200 yards in the first game of the season against Ysleta, 26 carries, 200 yards, but did not score a touchdown in that contest, so he's definitely going to be a threat. So we're talking 200 in game 1 and then 165 in game 2. That's 365 yards in 2 games, over 150 yards a game. So, again, we've got to have that the missile right on top of him. Jordan Reese had 6 catches against Ysleta to start the season for 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. So they had a little bit of a passing threat in there as well. But once again, 2 games that they had more yardage than their opponent. They ended up losing both of those contests, one by 8 in the first game against Ysleta, 12 versus El Paso Riverside.
That usually means that the opponent is getting some better field advantages as far as position, as well as taking over some possessions, whether it be interceptions or downs, turnover on downs. Either way, they're making the most of it. Yeah, you can run up and down the field, but unless you go into the end zone, it doesn't count for as much. So that may be what's happening with Parkland is they're able to move the ball, but when it comes down to the red zone or near the red zone, they may be losing the ball or just not being able to get it into the red zone and turning it over on downs. And
kind of adding insult to injury, going back to defense for just a second, in that game last week, they had 19 tackles for loss against Riverside, 10 against Ysleta in the first game. So they're getting through the line of scrimmage. They're going after the quarterback, going after the backfield, and taking some people down. The problem is, again, they're just not, when they're playing the chess match, could be some field position issues, but when it comes down to it, they're just not getting those W's. So Hobbs better be ready. This team is hungry for a win. They have some pretty decent defensive players. Tysheen Dawson had 13 tackles against Ysleta in the first game, and one of their linebackers, Aldo Ortiz, finished with 12, so double-digit tackles for both of those two guys in that game to start the season. Against El Paso Riverside last week, their linebacker Julian Gomez finished with 22 tackles in the game. 15 of those were assists, so he was helping out his teammates more than just solo tackles. He had 2 for a loss, and also the defensive back DJ Nunez had 13 tackles in that loss as well. And that, again, those two combined helping out in terms of the 19 tackles for loss in the contest. So, again, 2 losses does not make any team happy. Plus, they have a road trip to Hobbs to deal with. It's about 4.5 hours. They came in on a big double-decker bus that we saw. That thing looked like a luxurious model there. But, once again, buses don't win ball games.
Exactly. Roughing it, they are not. But, I remember in Rocky 3, he said go back to the basics, and maybe they need a worser bus than this to rough it a little bit to be able to get that heart in there to win the game. But regardless of this, on the other hand, Hobbs needs a win, but they want to win after that tough loss last week. We talked about that. But you know what? This Parkland team has nothing to lose. This game may not show up on their records after all, since it's a New Mexico game. So they can come out here and see what they can do to get a win. And 0-2, you definitely want to see, or they definitely want to see some improvement on their squad. You've already talked about the fact they've outran their opponent. They've they got more yards in the offense than they have on the other side, and that's got to hurt. So they got to come out here, and they're going to see if they can do what they can do against this Hobbs team.
Brock Beatty helping his team to 618 yards in the air so far, 483 in the running game. So definitely right now the pass tends to lead the numbers, but of course last week was a very slow running game, 57 yards, so that definitely hurt their numbers. Hobbs averaging 206 passing yards a game, 154 in the running department. Currently the leader with the rush is Wright 190 yards. So he's got 20 carries and averaging close to 63 yards a contest. Amarian Kennedy with 167. He's averaging 55 yards a game. So those are the two top rushers for the Eagles. In the passing department, the brother of the quarterback, Braddock Beatty, with 185 yards, averaging about 61 yards in receptions a game and 14.2 on the average on those catches. His teammate also in triple digits, Justice French, the junior. He's got 132 yards out of 14 catches. He's averaging 44 yards a game and 9.4 a catch. So those are the two top receivers. We already gave you the running backs and the defense really quickly. As you can expect, a leader, linebacking core, Tristan Davis, 34 tackles. 20 of those are solo, so he definitely is a misser we mentioned earlier. 5 tackles for losses. We mentioned Aiden Gloom, who's really coming on the last few weeks, has 26 tackles, second on the charts with 21 solo tackles, so one more than Tristan Davis. And then a couple other guys with 22 apiece. Gustavo Diaz-Castro, the linebacker, 13 of those 22 are solos. And Peyton Davis, 22, 15 solos for him, 5 tackles for loss. But the team only has 5 sacks so far, so hopefully they can get to that quarterback, who's a pretty decent one for this El Paso Parkland team. Eagles going to wear their black uniforms, gold numbers for the home squad, and it'll be El Paso's white uniforms, black numbers, and gold trim for the visitors. We're going to take a quick break, about 60 seconds. Get ready for kickoff here, Watson Stadium, Game 4, live on HobbsAmerica.com on the internet and Cool 95.7 on the radio. We're ready for the kickoff here. The referee staff at the last second made a big huddle around the 30-yard line. Thought we were going to get the kickoff quicker than that, but they have something to discuss before we get started. As Hobbs will be receiving to start this ball game. New Mexico versus Texas in this one. Of course, El Paso versus Hobbs. As Eagles wanting to get the first possession going here. Listening live to Hobbs Eagle Football on Cool 95.7 on the radio and HobbsAmerica.com. Yeah, they've got the... Did somebody make a mistake on which way they're going to kick? That's a question I have to ask.
Yeah, I think something happened in the end. I think somebody got their wires crossed and got the directions messed up.
And that's why they had the little powwow there with the officials. Everybody was lined up, and then all of a sudden they converge on each other to have a little discussion, the black and white stripes. And now we got things underway here for the kickoff. It'll be from the 40-yard line. We know that for sure. Hobbs will be going from right to left on the radio dial as we get ready for the kickoff for El Paso Parkland. That is Julian Duenas, the junior. Hobbs will get a couple back deep. Back about the 5-yard line, the deepest for the Eagles. And that appears to be, I believe, Austin Chavarria. Again, a couple guys possibility not of playing in this game. We'll have to wait and see with the injuries last week. Here's a low shot to the near left sideline. Bounces at the 26. The ball gets bounced around, almost knocked off the knee of a Hobbs Eagle that slid under it for a 2-yard retrieval there, forward, and very dangerous play. It almost ricocheted off the Eagles' knee. Thankfully, Eagles covered it. That was Chavarria that got out there for it. And Hobbs will have a halfway decent field position at the 27-yard line here on the near left sideline near the hash mark. So the first series of the ball game for either team. Again, this is game 3 for El Paso Parkland, game 4 for your Hobbs Eagles right before district starting next week here at home against Las Cruces. Let's see who we got in the backfield. It's been a big question mark heading into this week. Looks like Seamus Wright back there behind the quarterback. And we got a split formation backfield. Waiting for the shotgun is Beatty. And they'll hand the ball off around the right end and quickly down to the 34-yard line. Justin French is the man that gets the ball. And he's going to get ahead for, looks like, 5 yards exactly.
Yeah, And that's a good run or good start for the Hobbs Eagles. Just get a little bit of runs, get those positive yards.
Three-man front for the Parkland defense. Trips left, receiver right, shotgun, quick screen to the left side. The catch is made behind the 30-yard line and getting pummeled quickly. Amarian Kennedy, he's definitely not the guy that wants to get a hit like that. No, actually, correction, that was Braddock Beatty out there. And he's going to lose some yards on that one. It looks like the five that they had just picked up with the play around the right side. Now it's going to be make it -3 now on that catch.
Yeah, it looked like somebody blew a blocking position and definitely did not, or left to him open anyway, and got a loss on that play.
3rd down and 8 from the 30, left hash. Shotgun again for Beatty. He has 2 backs behind him. Handoff around the right side to right. He's met in the backfield. I don't think he got back to line of scrimmage, and looks like El Paso Parkland pointing the other direction. They're feasting on the backfield of the Eagles that time, and that's going to be a loss of, it looks like, let's see where they're going to mark this. He looked like he might have a little forward progress on that one. Yeah, they're changing the yard marker now. Loss of 2 on the play. But Seamus Wright, the sophomore, had no chance with all those white jerseys getting through.
So 3 and out for the Hobbs Eagles. So far, looks like they're going to run punt formation, although they did this last week, and it was a fake. So let's see what happens this time around.
Beatty back to punt. He'll be waiting for that snap at the 15 or so. They bring him out of motion right to left. Definitely not going to see a fake this early. The punt from the 20-yard line. High up in the air. Going to take a bad bounce for the Eagles, though, as it goes to the 35, then rolls forward to the 40. And that's where it'll be down just shy of the 40-yard line at the 39. So already the Eagles confident up on the first possession as it was retrieved by Gustavo Diaz-Castro, the linebacker, on the punt crew there. 1st down and 10 for El Paso Parkland at their own 39-yard line. Kind of a lackluster start to the offense, Ron.
It is, and we were hoping to see a quick start. Unfortunately, though, this looks like it may be the 4th game in a row that Hobbs starts off on the slow end of this offensive side.
Parkland comes out to the field now. Molina, the quarterback. Macias, of course, big-time running back, over 180 yards a ball game. Twins left and right. Give it to Macias up the gut. Tries to get some gap and move the pile. Might have got about 2, but black jerseys all over him quickly.
Looks like he made about 4 friends on the Hobbs side because they were all over him, trying to make sure he didn't get advance the ball.
Sammy Baeza, the linebacker, in there first, the senior. So Macias getting about 2 on that one. 2nd down and 8 now from the 42. Obeys your movement on that line of scrimmage. Right side of the line, ran backwards to move to the left side of the line, and the snap was coming about the same time, and a big jump there. I'm not sure what happened. Looked like trying to do a line shift, but major miscommunication on that one. A 5-yard penalty already for El Paso Parkland.
And just to let everybody know on radio as well as the viewers, our YouTube is down right now, so you can still catch us on HobbsAmerica.com. Of course, KZ Cool 95.7 on the Facebook page.
2nd down and 12. Trips left. 1 on the right side. Give it off to Macias. He tries to head out to the right to the near sideline in front of the Hobbs Eagle bench and is put down in the backfield. He's going to lose about 4. Eagles sniffed that one out quickly. Not going to let him come anywhere close to that sideline. And taking him down hard was Jacob Diaz, the DB on the left.
It looked like Sammy Baez had a little bit to do with that as well. But either way, Hobbs brings it back.
It's going to be a 3rd down and 17. The quarterback tries to move around the left end, and he's dropped in the backfield as well. Not much a chance for that one for Molina, as the Eagles just swamped in there, having their time to get through that line and taking care of business to clamp down on the quarterback. He's going to lose some more.
Yeah, and it's going to be 4th and long, and Hobbs definitely trying to get an advantage on defense, and so far doing the best they can.
Defensive end Amron Wheeler on that one. So they're going to need to get 21. And the punt's coming, and it's away. Nice spiral. It's going to take a bounce for Parkland. Picked up at the 31 on the right hash for the Eagles. Trying to get outside, bouncing into his own teammate, and trying to get ahead for a few extra yards there, but had to run into a black jersey first. As a return man for the Eagles, sprinting off the sideline now was Javen Hernandez. Hobbs with some good field position on their 2nd possession at the 37. So both teams have punted to start this first quarter of action.
So it looks like it may be one of those defensive struggles, but it's still too early to tell about that.
1st and 10 from the 37. Hobbs football, 2nd possession. They got a couple receivers right, bunched together, 3 on the left side. Shotgun, Beatty going to pitch left to right to 30, 35, 40. Keeps up the left hash and is buried from behind, but he is able to push his body forward a little bit. And he's going to be close to that 1st down marker.
Yeah,
that's Amarian Kennedy instead. He gets 9 on that one.
I was going to say he got at least 9. Depending on the mark, could have gotten the whole 10, but 9 yards, and that is good. I think they do better when they go outside than up the middle.
He had an ankle injury, very well taped in this game, though. Twins right and left, 2nd down and 1 from the 47, make it the 46-yard line. Shotgun to Beatty, but it looked like Kennedy started forward from the backfield, not going in motion to the sides. And the forward motion is not going to be allowed in NFHS football, so that'll be a 5-yard penalty on the false start for the Eagles.
Well, it also looked like from the quarterback stance that the ball wasn't hiked in time, and it took another half second to do that. And by that time, half the line was moving, and the quarterback thought he'd have the ball at that time and got the false start call.
Yeah, both teams been hit with the false start penalty early here in the first. 8:11 left first quarter, still scoreless here at Watson Stadium. Hobbs and El Paso Parkland. First, make that 2nd down and 7 now from the 41 of the Eagles on the left hash. Bring a man in motion left to right, fake the handoff, give it up the middle instead to the tailback, and angling left. Going to pick about 3 yards on the forward progress that time for the Eagles. That's Amarian Kennedy again. So Kennedy now with 2 carries for 12 yards. Good to see him back after that ankle injury last week against Roswell. 3rd and 2 now for Hobbs at the 49 of their own. Make it the 44 on the left hash. Quick reset, Twins right and left. Back in shotgun is Beatty, puts Kennedy on his left shoulder. 5 on the front line for the Matadors. Heading left is Brock Beatty, puts his head down like a battering ram and gets outside close to the 50. He needed to get to the 48, make it the 47, but more than enough to get the first down. They'll give him 4 on that one. So Beatty's first carry, the quarterback, is for a first.
And I know most head coaches kind of grimace every time they see their quarterback take those hits, but, you get the first down, and he got up, so it's okay.
Trips right, 1 receiver left. Beatty and Kennedy in the backfield. Kennedy behind him. He looks to the sideline now to see Coach Stevens' last call here. Again, those receivers on the right side look pretty eager to get downfield. Beatty takes a good snap, handoff to Kennedy. Kind of shaking his way through the hole up the gut, across the 50 into Parkland territory, down to the 48-yard line. So he's going to get about 4 yards on that one. Kennedy looks pretty decent heading up those gaps. He's got 16 yards on 3 carries, over 5 a pop here in the first quarter.
Must have seen something in the tapes against this team that said, just keep hitting it up the middle. They're going to weaken a little bit, and you'll be able to break one free sooner or later.
Pair of receivers left and right now. Beatty and Kennedy in the backfield once again. 4 in the front line for Parkland. 2-step drop, the curl route at the 40, make it the 41-yard line. The catch is made. And that's Henry on that one. Going to be a 9-yard pickup for Henry. And a first down for the Eagles. The Eagles are now 2 for 2 in the passing game for 6 yards, and the second first down at the Parkland 41-yard line left hash.
Yeah, didn't move anywhere in the first drive. This second drive is going much smoother so far, keeping them all going forward.
So they give him, looks like 8 instead of the 9 I mentioned before. So 1st and 10 now from the 41-yard line of Parkland. Trips right, receiver left. Beatty looking at both sets of receivers to make sure everybody's set here with 6:31 left in the first. Kennedy moves up to his right shoulder from behind. 1-step drop, curl route again to the sideline, and there's the catch made for the Eagles. And tiptoeing out of bounds, Gabriel Henry in front of the Hobbs Eagle bench. And he's going to get another 6 yards for the Eagles. So Henry with 2 catches for 14 yards, 3 for 3 in the passing game for the Eagles for 11 yards.
He's got some reliable hands. That's why a lot of times you'll see those passes head over to him, just because he can catch them and run so well.
Also gets off the ground really well in the end zone when you want to loft it over the shoulder. Shotgun to Beatty, 3-step drop. Fires down the middle, seam route, wide over the top of the hands, and a catch made in the stride for a touchdown. There he is again. Gabriel Henry for 35 yards up the middle of the field. Ball threw a little bit long, but he got his long fingers underneath it, caught it in stride about the 11 and into the end zone.
Yeah, and it was a perfect play. Got him in stride, like you said, and nothing but net, or in this case, nothing but the end zone for a quick 6. And Hobbs looking good so far in this game.
3 catches for 49 yards for Henry and a touchdown now as we wait the cannon smoke to clear the PAT area here. Late man coming on the field for the Eagles. They were only at 10 on the field at that point. Gustavo Diaz-Castro, the linebacker, going to do some blocking from the left side. Ready for that snap for Benton Lee. Kick is up, and it is good as it makes it inside the left uprights. Here come the lights going off again, and boy, that is not one of my favorite deals out there, not being able to see what's going on during those plays. 7-0 though, that's what's going on. 35-yard touchdown pass from Beatty to Henry. 7-zip your score. We'll be back in 60 seconds on the Hobbs Eagle Network. Hobbs Eagles, after a first drive that didn't go anywhere, get the ball back and score off a 35-yard pass play from Beatty to Henry. 7-0 with 6:21 left here in the first quarter, live at Watson Stadium. So the Eagles getting on the scoreboard first, finally, after the last couple of weeks of football, Ron.
Yeah, and I think I know this is the first time they've done this season.
Onside kick across the 45 on the near side. Ball's loose, but El Paso Parkland's going to come up with it. And the man to scoop it up before it got away to the Eagles was Arturo Silva, even in the near sideline right in front of the Hobbs Eagle bench. And Hobbs, a little bit of trickery there. But that's going to give Parkland some good field position at their own 48-yard line, but they trail by 7 to the Eagles.
That's right, but that just means that you are confident with your defense that they can stop this offense from happening. So you try these trick plays just to see if you can get your opportunity for the offense another try.
1st and 10 for the Matadors at their own 48-yard line. Hobbs up 7-0 here in the first with 6:17 remaining. 2 receivers left, one to the right side, and a split formation backfield for Molina. High snap, able to come down with it, give a little draw play, heading to the right, crashing into a wall, trying to spin out of it, and then dropped in the backfield. Should be forward progress to the line of scrimmage that time.
Yeah, and just when you thought the play had stopped, actually it was still moving backwards, and those defensive players definitely did not stop until they were on the ground.
Looks like Reese was the one that got the carry that time, just a 1-yard pickup. Hurry up offense, back to pass Molina, rolling left, pump fakes, keeps on his feet to the 45, 50, into Hobbs Eagle territory and brought down at the 47. So he saw a little opening on the end on the left side and moved forward. See how many they're going to give him on that one. Looks like about 4. Or do we have a penalty marker? Whitecap is talking to one of the officials behind the line of scrimmage. I don't see the actual handkerchief on the ground here, but I'm not sure what that was all about. That would have been about a 5 or 6 yard pickup for Molina, but I
think I see it on the sideline on the other side, just in front of the sticks.
We got a procedure call against the Eagles. The Whitecap official was very slow on that signal, like he wasn't quite sure we're going to mark on this, but that will be a 5-yard penalty against the Eagles. Their second total, 10 with the yardage count. So I'm sorry, against Parkland, excuse me. Got to put against the wrong team there. So 2 penalties for 10 yards for Parkland. Back him up 5, and I'm sure Coach McWhorter there for the Matadors wants to have an explanation on what the problem was with that play. But the quarterback had some time in the backfield. I thought they might get him for a holding penalty because a lot of time to throw the football. He tucked it instead. 2nd down and 15 now from the 43. Shotgun to himself. Molina's going to throw it out to Dry on the far left sideline. Just a lead pass, but overthrows his receiver on that far left in front of the Parkland bench. And he just kind of zinged it out there and kind of up for grabs.
Could have been a good play, would have been positive yardage and possibly even a first down depending on how he caught it, but instead did not catch it and draw pass for 3rd down.
Hurry up offense, 3rd down and 15. Molina's going to tuck and go, tries to get to the left hash and dives down, but barely to the line of scrimmage that time. And the hurry up offense not working too well for the Matadors. Hobbs able to react quickly and shut down the run. The quarterback's starting to try to read the zone a little bit to make a decision where he's going to go with it. Credit the tackle for the Eagles on that one, the linebacker. That was Sammy Baeza's second wrap-up. And a 4th down and 15. And the punt's coming from Molina. He's going to get rid of it quickly. And it's going to be a nice sailor down to the 10. Rolls to the goal line. It's saved from behind. Loose at the 4. And Parkland is going to be able to tag it down inside the 5. Nice job to recover it was Jacoby Bernard. He wasn't the tap man, but he was the guy that put it down at the 4. So good effort there for Parkland. Seems like the Matadors are too quick to get out of their series, though. They're punting twice and now nothing to answer with. And now you're just giving the ball back to the other team.
Yeah, and again, though, but they are forcing them deep in Hobbs' own territory. So maybe they think they can get something happening on their defense since their offense is kind of sputtering right now.
Hobbs up 7-0 with 5:05 left first quarter, but deep in their territory at the 4. Back to the shotgun is Beatty. Staggered eye formation to his side. Gives the handoff. It's fumbled in the end zone. They try to throw it out of there to avoid a sack in the end zone or a wrap-up for a safety. We're going to wait to see if they're going to call this a legal throw or not. Look like the running back, you can't have a grounding with the non-quarterback position. They're going to call the safety. That looked like Amarian Kennedy got a little quick handoff going left, and he was getting sacked or brought down on the back in the end zone in the backfield there, and he just smartly, he made a good decision. Hey, I'm going to get put down here. I'm just going to act like I'm throwing it. But you can't have a grounding situation. Grounding's allowed now, but you got to be out of the blocking area, and you cannot be the second guy to get the ball. It's the quarterback's able to do that, or whoever gets the snap.
Yeah, the quarterback wouldn't be able to do it, but unfortunately it was a bad handoff. Actually, it wasn't even a handoff at all. Hit the ground. It was in the end zone. And, yeah, you're right. He was trying to play a heads up, but didn't work out. for the best, and turns out to be a safety. Probably would have been, if not, it could have been a 6 points. So, hey, you're looking at least 4 point less that it could have happened.
Yeah, if you have a penalty in the end zone with your back to the end zone and it's against your team, the offense, that's going to be on automatic safety. Even if the ball doesn't stay in the end zone or it's an incomplete pass, you have a penalty in the end zone, a holding or anything like that, and that one was a illegal pass, that's going to be automatic safety. So that kind of like what you said. I mean, the quick offensive looks for El Paso Parkland, maybe just going to rely on the defense to try to get something going here.
Exactly, and so far it's paid out. Maybe not as well as they hoped, but they got a couple of points on the board, and they get the ball back. So, yeah, so it worked out for the best on that time.
Looks like Beatty's going to elect to punt from the 20-yard line. You have a choice of punt or kick on safeties. A wobbler. It's going to go towards the Eagles sideline and goes out. Almost, I think it hit the referee there, the line judge at the 45. Ricochets against him, but that's not good field position for, I mean, it is good field position for El Paso Parkland, but not really a good punt. It looked like the Eagles are trying to get it down the sideline to get some coverage on it, but it ends up ricocheting. Now they're going to throw the flag. Not sure what they're going to call on this one because the referee was on the field a little bit. They say that, not sure what that could have been called on because you can kick it out of bounds on a punt. You just can't do that on a kickoff.
Right, and it definitely wasn't a kickoff, but
let's see what. It looked like it hit the referee in the field of play. He looked like he was above or outside or onto the field of play past the sideline that time. And it looked like it hit his ankle or something. Kind of surprised that they have the penalty on that one. He was a fixture on the field. They're having a discussion down right now with a couple of the officials. The Whitecap talking to the line judge here on the near sideline in front of the Hobbs bench. They're going to try to discuss this and decide where the ball needs to be marked from. And I bet you're going to see some coaches wanting to know what's up too.
And it could be a simple matter. Sometimes, an invert flag, but this time around, no, it's not.
Wait a second here.
So
they called that a procedure against El Paso Parkland.
Huh.
He pointed towards Parkland. They were the team that was receiving the punt. And he pointed to Parkland, who's got it now back at the 50. I don't know what the call was. We didn't see the signal there, but it's going to be El Paso Parkland football at the 50-yard line. Shotgun to Molina, hands up the middle. Macias bangs into one defender for the Eagles and keeps going forward. He's going to get about 3 or 4, and he just went head-to-head. And he went to the defensive end of the Hobbs Eagles and got a crash from Amron Wheeler. That's his second of the game. He's a sophomore, too. Puts his body on the line. 5-yard pickup from Macias. They're going to throw the screen route to the right side of the hurry-up offense. Coming up the sideline in front of the Hobbs Eagles side of the field after the snag. And that's going to be enough for the first down, it looks like. 6 yards. As just tiptoeing up the sideline off the screen for Jacoby Bernard. And they're going with the hurry-up offense.
You bet they are. And you're also seeing this. They're not running it nearly as much as they usually do. They're trying to get the passing game going.
Hurry up offense, shotgun high to Molina. Now we got flags flying. I think they're going a little bit too quickly now. They got the line jumping, and that will be a false start against the Matadors, their third penalty for 15 yards.
And that's almost always something that indicative that happens when you're trying to move the ball down the field and you don't have you have 11 players on there. Somebody's always going to be eager enough to try to get ahead of the count, and that's exactly what happened.
Not wasting any time. 1st and 15 now from the Eagle 43-yard line. Shotgun high. Give it to Macias. Goes left and then tries to cut it back and meets a big wall again. He's going to go down. Matta got back to line of scrimmage on that one, but a bunch of black and gold jerseys. Saw Amron Wheeler in the area that time, but get the wrap-up on the play for the Eagles linebacker. That was Tristan Davis recording his first tackle of the game. No gain on the play for Macias.
We're already back into the play.
Back to pass, rolling left as Molina wants to throw, rolls out to the 45, tries to throw a high out route up to the 30, but overthrows his receiver to the far left and right to the bench of the Matadors, and not really getting his foot down the way he wanted to unload that football as the pass was intended to that far left sideline to Kayla Martinez, incomplete.
He's doing something that is impossible to do at times, throw against your body as you're running and try to be accurate.
1 for 3, 6 yards so far for Molina, the quarterback. Hobbs Eagles playing stout here with a 3rd and 15. Twins right and left, ready for shotgun. Molina back to pass on a 3-step drop. The comeback route to the 50 is caught far left sideline. Heading across the 45, angling across to the 40, 35-30, and gets the first down on a 15 yards. He just broke away from some people on that far sideline after the screen. That's Antonio Enriquez, the 15 yards he needs, unless they say he stepped out. Looks like he might have because the yard marker is not going all the way down to that first down area. It's stopping short. They're going to give him 7 on that one. He must have stepped out at the 37-yard line.
Long way back. But, yeah, we thought it was going to be back behind the line of scrimmage, and it looked like he made a gain.
4th down and 8 now for El Paso Parkland at the 37. Up the middle goes the quarterback, Molina to the 35, diving straight forward, gets tripped up and goes down at the 31. He only gets 4, make it 5 on the play, but not enough for the first down, short by about 2 yards, and that will end the series for El Paso Parkland.
Yeah, turnover on downs, and he tried his best, tried to dive forward, but was short on that, at least by 2 yards, like you mentioned. So, yeah, turnover, and Hobbs goes back on offense again.
Offense not being productive so far for El Paso Parkland. They've had 1 turnover on downs just now and 2 punts, 0 for 3 in the offense at this point. They did manage to get a couple of catches for 13 yards in the passing game. And right now just about +3 in the running department. 1st and 10 from the 30 for the Eagles. 4 receivers going right on the quads, 1 on the left side. By himself is Beatty. 2-step drop into the shotgun. He's being patient. He's going to load it with the fade route to left side over the shoulder and try to come back for it at the 35. It's incomplete. It looked like there was a push. No call there. The line judge decides to pull out of that one, but some tough defense being applied deep on the left sideline. A good D by Tyler Douglas, and the Hobbs fans want a PI on that one, Ron.
Exactly, they do. It looked like it was a perfect pass. Looked like there was a little contact, but in most cases it's called incidental. In this case, no penalty, 2nd down.
2nd down and 10 now from the 30-yard line. Hobbs quickly back up the line. They're going to go hurry up offense too. Twins left and right. Beatty does have a blocker back with him now, Amarian Kennedy. Back to pass, 3-step drop, now 5-step, dumps it down the middle, the catch of the 30, 35, 40, outside of the 45, down to the 46-yard line. That will be good for 16 yards. And I believe that was Amarian Kennedy coming out of the backfield for 16. Looks like he's got the legs back where he needs them to be. And he'll move the chains for the Eagles, their 3rd first down. After the dump down the middle of the field, kind of just waiting for the defense to suck up towards Beatty. His first catch of the ball game.
Caught that in traffic and was able to make positive yards and did the most he could.
Hobbs now with 5 catches out of 7 attempts. 1st and 10 now from the 46 of the Eagles on the right hash. Shotgun to Beatty, 2-step drop. He'll throw it to the far right on the out route, but it hits it right into the El Paso Parkland bench. Receiver just kind of waved it out because he had no chance to come over to make that. It would probably taken his hands off, was thrown so hard. That was his brother, Braddock Beatty, and hey, he's not going to take any injury from his own brother.
No, he wouldn't, and I know the parents and the whole family, for that matter, would be a little disappointed about that.
So 2nd down and 10 for the Eagles at the 46, still on their side of the field. 3:21 left first quarter, 7-2. Hobbs scoring off a pass play, and of course El Paso Parkland getting a safety defensively. Twins right, receiver left, and we got one of the receivers on the far right kind of bent his knee and kind of put his head down a little bit before the snap. I think they're going to get that false start on Braddock Beatty. That will be a 5-yard penalty. That's the 3rd for the Eagles for 15 yards. The same for El Paso Parkland, 3 for 15. So we're kind of getting an even out here for both squads. Hobbs still with a 5-point lead, though, here in the first quarter. Boy, it's a humid night out here tonight, up here in the press box, too, Ron.
Definitely. I was just noticing that myself. But, yeah, they seem to be trying to get something different, get a little more momentum going, get a faster start. And so far, both sides are having a little trouble with those false starts.
2nd down and 15 from the 41-yard line after the 5-yard penalty. Twins right, receiver left for the Eagles. Beatty with 2 running backs back with him in the backfield. They're both heading left. Option left side with the pitch. Caught at the 35, brought across the 40. 45, putting his head down and shoulder. And he's going to get about 7 on that carry. And that he's coming up hurt as well. And oh no, that's Amarian Kennedy again. He was hurt against Roswell too. Does get 7 on that carry. He's got 4 carries so far for 23 yards and comes off limping.
Yeah, and we were afraid that could be a possibility of happening, especially if you get tackled just right, and unfortunately it did happen.
And he tried to put the hurt on the defender that time, put his shoulder down and took him straight sideways and rammed him towards the sideline, but ended up coming off hobbled. 3rd down and 8 now from the 48, left hash for the Eagles, still on their side of the field. Trips right, receiver 1 to the left. Waiting for shotgun is Beatty. 3-step drop back to the 40. Throws it down the middle of the field. The seam right over the shoulder, but barely gets it past the open arms, waiting for it. Could not come down with it. Incomplete. I believe that was Austin Chavarria. Yes, it was. That seam route down the middle got between the safeties, and just hoping that ball would go a little bit shorter so he could come up underneath it. Incomplete, unfortunately, for the Eagles.
Yeah, and that would have been a beautiful play. At the very least, it would have been a huge first down, if not possible touchdown.
Eagles fourth down and 8 now from their own 48-yard line on the left hash. They're 5 of 9 in the passing game for 62 yards. And looks like the Eagles want to talk about this one. Do you want to risk it here, maybe punt it high in the air and get it deep as much as possible, or do you want to try to get it for a first down? You need to get 8 up to the 44-yard line. 2:34 left first quarter. We'll take a break. Hobbs 7, El Paso Parkland 2, back in half a minute.
Welcome back here as we are still in the first quarter. It is 2:34 remaining. It's 7-2, Hobbs in the lead, and they've got the ball, and they're almost into their own side of the field. And it is fourth down, though. They're trying to figure out what's going on, and with the call, here is Ty Friend.
Coach Stevens making a big decision here. Looks like they're going for it. Twins right and left at their own 48-yard line, leading 7-2. Beatty back in the backfield. He's got one man with him on his left shoulder. Marion Kennedy came out injured just a minute ago. 4-step drop, back to the 40. He's going to throw it down the middle with the post route and overthrows Chavarria again. Back-to-back throws coming to him, and unfortunately a little bit too much mustard on the throw, and Hobbs will give it up on downs. They're now 5 of 10, 50% in the passing game, and that will be their first turnover on downs. They punted twice prior to that in the same exact situation. Turnover on downs, 2 punts, and that's the same for El Paso Parkland.
I know. The only thing different is Hobbs is able to convert into a touchdown. Otherwise, this would be a 2-0 game, and Hobbs will be trailing. But so far, they've been lucky enough to get that score.
Eagles scored at the 6:21 mark as Beatty hit Henry for a 35-yard touchdown pass. El Paso Parkland football in Hobbs territory at the 48, middle of the field. Trips left, receiver right. Molina takes the shotgun snap, hands up with the man of Macias, bouncing off a couple defenders, heads left, and near the 41-yard line. Looks like he's getting about 8 on that one. So you're going to be shy by about 2 yards and quickly up to the line of scrimmage. Second down and 2. Handoff again. There he goes. Left again. 40. 35 to the far left sideline. 30s. He bangs over another guy for the Eagles. So that's going to be, it looks like, about 10 yards there for Macias. Going to move the chains. The first down for El Paso Parkland. Hurry up offense again now at the 28 of the Eagles left hash. They trail Hobbs by 5. Trends left, receiver right. Back to Macias up the middle. 25. Continues to plow the body forward, and they're not going to waste any time for this offense as he gets another 9 yards in a cloud of dust.
Jacob Diaz was on the stop on that one. Otherwise, it could have been much worse for Hobbs.
Second down and 1, and we got a defensive coach of the Eagles stomping out on the field, calling a timeout, throwing his fist and his fingers at players. He's thinking that there's way too much running for Macias. Not a real inventive play calls the last couple of plays for El Paso Parkland, but it's getting the job done as they're starting to whittle away at the yardage heading towards the end zone.
Exactly.
1:38 left here in the first quarter. It's 7-2 Hobbs leading Parkland. Come back with us in 30 seconds on HobbsAmerica.com and Cool 95.7. Back live here at Watson Stadium as the Hobbs Eagles trying to put up a big, tough defense for a timeout, and they're going to give the handoff to Macias. He gets up for 4 yards, so he's able to move the chains again. Second first down. New quarterback is out there for Parkland. That's Jaden Masur. And he's going to go around the left side, but he's wrapped up from behind on a big bear hug. He's going to lose a yard out there. Eagles get a great read coming from the linebacking core for the Eagles to put him down to the turf quickly. That was Tristan Davis for his second wrap-up of the ball game. He's excited, pumped up, jumped up in the air, and got some high fives from teammates after that. Loss of a yard of the play for the new quarterback. I'm not sure what happened to Molina, but Jaden Missouri is the guy out there now. And he's going to try to go up the middle this time, and he's met by the black and gold in the backfield. About 3 or 4 guys get through that time. Actually, did they get the handoff at the last second to Missouri? I think he did. No, maybe Macias had a piece of that, and he's going to go back another 2 yards. Minus.
Well, the weird thing is Missouri is actually the senior, and Molina is just the junior. So maybe they're trying to get some more experience in there, trying to see if they get a quick score with their senior.
They were having some high snaps to the starter, Molina. I'm not sure if that had any issue there, but trips left, receiver right, 3rd down and 12 now from the Eagle 16. High snap again and try to get up the middle, and that's going to be a cloud of dust coming at him. As a bunch of black and golds at him that time, and was that just a snap to the quarterback? I think actually
Yes.
That's a quick snap to Macias that tried to come up and get it, and he's going to get back to the line of scrimmage for no gain on the play. Quick snap that time.
Yeah, either way, they are in the red zone, but it's also 4th down. So it looks like they may be talking about this for a timeout.
We'll keep it right here on a 4th down and 12. It's El Paso Parkland's time. No, that's the end of the first quarter.
Oh,
The clock has
yes.
just run out here. Hobbs up 7-2 over El Paso Parkland. 7-2, 5-point game at this point, and we will be back in 60 seconds on the Hobbs Eagle Network. Watson Stadium, the place tonight. Your Hobbs Eagles in the 4th game of the season, the final game before the district schedule starts next week against Las Cruces. They lead a close one here over El Paso Parkland, 7-2, a 5-point lead. Eagles had a big pass play for a touchdown to start the game, 35-yarder to Henry from Beatty, and a safety scored for the defense of El Paso Parkland. It is 4th down and 12, back to pass. Manzure back to the 25 out of the shotgun, rolls right. He's going to throw the out route, caught at the 10 to the 5, diving to the end zone. They count him over the goal line? Yes, they do. A 12-yard play, or make it a 16-yard touchdown play, and the score. And that's actually number 16 that got the 16-yarder to get the points on for El Paso Parkland. And that for the Parkland Matadors is Jordan Reese, their top receiver of the team.
It's amazing, and it was a perfectly played down. They took the timeout just right, made the adjustments, and were able to get past that defense for a Matador touchdown.
Only their 3rd catch of the ball game for 29 yards, but they got the lead, as you mentioned, by 1. Now trying to make it 2 at the PAT coming here. Off the foot of, yep, it goes in the left upright inside. Good on the kick for Julian Duenas. So a 2-point lead now, baseball-like score here at Watson Stadium. El Paso Parkland 9, your Hobbs Eagles 7. 30 seconds and we're back live with more Hobbs Eagle football. Nine to 7 your score. El Paso Parkland leads the Eagles by 2 with 11:51 left in the second quarter. Parkland scored a safety in the first, added a 16-yard pass from Manzure to Reese to make that 2-point lead. They'll be kicking off here, and both teams going with the hurry-up offense, and it's they're giving up a lot of series where they're not really advancing the ball the way they like to. Both teams have punted several times, twice each. Both teams have turnover on downs, but that time on that series, El Paso makes the end zone. Getting ready for the kickoff now for the Matadors. That is Duenas. It's going to be a squib back to the 22 and bobbled for a second. Stutter step across from the left to the right to the 25 to the near sideline, 30, 35, cutting up to the 40 on the near side and high step into the 45. A big time return. That's going to be about 30 yards on the return for the Eagles that time. And I believe the return man for Hobbs was Justice French, the wide receiver. Great field position for Hobbs. They'll have it at their own 45.5, make it the 46-yard line. Definitely a chance here to try to get the lead with 11:41 left, second quarter.
Yeah, definitely have a great field position at this point.
Hobbs will get the two receivers right, one to the left side. Everybody checking their wristbands for the play call as Beatty back in shotgun as his two running backs in a staggered eye off to his right shoulder. Long snap count here, two-step drop. Pump fakes, he's going to fire, fade route to the near sideline, right over the shoulder, just barely misses the fingertips at the 10-yard line. On to the races, his brother out there, Braddock Beatty, wanted Brock to just kind of drop it a little shorter. But once again, the receiver's been beating their cornerbacks in this game a lot, and some of the safeties up the seam routes up the middle, Ron.
Yeah, Hobbs trying to take advantage of those sidelines. Could have, if he would have gotten in stride, of course, that would have definitely been a huge touchdown and answer back for Hobbs. But unfortunately, fell to the ground toward an incompletion.
Second down and 10 for the Eagles at their own 47-yard line. Currently, the Eagles have 49 yards in receptions for Henry, 16 for Kennedy, 1 for 16, 3 for 49 for Henry. Go with the draw play to the tailback up the middle, and he is wrestled down, fell forward, maybe got about a yard on the forward progress. And looks like Seamus Wright, the sophomore, able to get ahead for 2 yards. So that's his second carry, 0 total. We had a -2 earlier. Hobbs now facing a 3rd down and 8 from their own 48-yard line. They trail 9-7 here in the second.
Hobbs wants to answer back quickly from that touchdown from the Matadors.
Quick hurry-up offense, Twins left and right. Shotgun, Beatty, 3-step drop. Back pedals, rolls right to the 40. He wants to tuck it and go. 45 and runs out of bounds. Gets hit hard coming out of the sideline in front of the Hobbs Eagle bench to the right. I don't know if he got back to line of scrimmage. Actually, he might have lost a yard on this one. They're marking it back at the 49, which looks like a loss of 1.
I'm not seeing a movement at all on the stick, so looks like it's me 4th down and 8 at this point, and a punting situation once again.
Yep, and that's going to be number 3 if they do decide to punt it. And I don't think it would be smart to try to fake it here in case Parkland would get some great field position out of it. One back deep for the Matadors at about the 15. Man in motion left to right for the Eagles. And that is going to be Beatty. Here comes the punt from the quarterback, Brock Beatty. Low kick, it's dropped to the 15. The return man kind of stumbled forward, lost it off his fingertips, able to scoop and go. And that's Macias that gets it back to the 23-yard line. He's dodging a bullet on that one, Ron.
Exactly. It looked like it could have been one of those mistakes that would have been in favor for Hobbs, but not quite. Wasn't able to get there in time to pick up that ball on the ground.
3 punts in the game so far. And that'll bring a 1st and 10 for El Paso at their own 23-yard line. Leading by 5, or make it 2 over the Eagles, 9-7. 10:55 left here in the second.
And at the beginning of this quarter, it was 7-2. So, nobody saw the fact that Matadors were going to be able to score, and they did it quickly at the beginning of this second quarter.
Trips right, receiver left. Long delay here for the new quarterback, Manzare. He hands it up the middle. Macias just trying to bounce around like a pinball as he's able to pull his body forward for about 3 on the play. Eagles converge on him quickly in the middle gap. And the man that come up with the wrap-up for the Eagles that time was Jaron Meredith, the defensive lineman. Gain of 2 for Macias, though. He's got 34 yards off of 11 carries. High snap. Manzare's going to unload. He gets pummeled as he threw the football. Comeback route at the 30. That'll be a 5-yard reception. And, boy, he took a shot in the backfield.
Yeah, it's one of those plays where you're trying to lure the defense to go to you. He did. He threw it and got hit for his efforts. Not a great gain, though.
5-yard pickup for Reese, 2 catches for 21 yards. 3rd down and 3 now for Parkland at their 30-yard line. Rolling right is Manzaneri. He's going to let it go, but it gets knocked down in the air in the backfield, getting chased again. And this time for the Hobbs Eagle defense, putting a big swat on the football. Aaron Wheeler, hurried throw and then a pass deflection, and that's going to make it a 4th down for Parkland. Again, they got to get to the 33.5-yard line, but they're deep in their own territory with a 4th down situation.
Hobbs bringing the hammer on the defense, definitely making the Matadors work for every yard they're getting, and so far it's been very few and far between.
They're now 5 of 12 in the passing game. 4th down and 3. Shotgun, or actually the punt, I should say, as the kick is away. And it'll be caught at the 29, run to the near sideline, to the 35, and going one-on-one against the defender and able to plow him over for just a second for the Eagles on the return was Javen Hernandez as he brings it toward the sideline. So Hobbs now going to have another possession. So punts galore, 3 total for both teams, 2 turnovers on downs, 1 apiece. And we've got a 9:50 clock here with second quarter action, 9-7. El Paso Parkland with a 2-point lead.
I wouldn't be surprised if this is the game that has the most punts, more than almost any other game combined.
First down and 10 from the 39-yard line of the Eagles, right hash. Back to shotgun Beatty, trips left, but they're bunched up near the line. Low snap, he pitches it left side. Heading far sideline to the 40, down to the 45, and picking up about 6 on the play. Looks like Marion Kennedy's the man with the football that time, and he's going to get 5 yards, so splitting the difference there. So Kennedy now with 5 carries for 28 yards, well ahead the leader in the rushing game so far, with a 2nd down and 5 now. Hurry up offense from the 44. Twins right and left. Beatty with a good shotgun snap, 2-step drop, throwing the deep out route to the 50, back pedal catch high in the air. That was a big shot, 5-yard pickup. Going to look like a first down, but I think the helmet hit the ground too on a hard shot as he took a licking from the defender, Carter Perez, near the Hobbs Eagles sideline right side.
I think it's more of a knock the wind out of him. He got him right in the gut.
I saw the head hit the turf there,
well,
too.
Well, that's true, too, but I think it's more, it could be that.
I'm hoping
it's more
I think it's a helmet. They're holding his head right now.
Well, they got the flag out now.
They might have called that legal contact to the helmet, or I'm not sure if there's a penalty. No, there is no flag down.
No, there is. He just dropped the penalty about a second ago. It's a late flag. However, it is going to be, and he was talking towards the Matadors as he dropped that flag.
Now, the only thing I think they could have called over there, maybe targeting if they took a shot towards the head that time, and it did look like his head hit the turf. The catch was made for the Eagles by Braddock Beatty. That would have been a 5-yard pickup. That moves the chains regardless. Their 4th first down, but we're going to see if they're going to add the 15-yarder on the targeting here because it was a pretty close play, but I see Coach coming out from the other sideline wanting to know, too, Coach McWhorter for El Paso Parkland. They put 15 down on the field here. That means it was a targeting penalty.
Exactly. So, so that adds on to that small gain for Hobbs Eagles, and hopefully Braddock will be all right. He is one of the key players for the Hobbs Eagles.
6 for 13 in the passing game. Brock Beatty, the quarterback, of course. Braddock, the wide receiver, who went down hard that time. Yep, they got a contact penalty there. So that's going to be 15 yards tacked on to the first down pickup, the 5 yards that they got on the reception by Beatty. So 3 or 4 penalties now for 30 yards for El Paso Parkland. The ball now on Parkland's territory at the 36-yard line. Now Hobbs trailing 9-7 with 9:15 left, second quarter. Hurry up offense. Twins left and right. Beatty and Kennedy in the backfield. Kennedy behind his quarterback. Delay on the snap count here. 3 on the front line for El Paso. 3-step drop back to the 45. Down the middle on the post route. Ball is bobbled a minute, and it's lost at the 16. Never really got the hold on the ball that he wanted off the post pass there to Justice French. Got kind of tumbled up and somersaulted, and unfortunately rolled off his fingertips. Good effort there for French, and he's got a tall, lanky body out there. Not as easy to reach down to make catches like that, and he had a man on his back there, that safety.
Yeah, that man was Ernest Crawford. He was defending it perfectly and got the ball just in time for that incompletion.
2nd down and 10. Back to the hurry up we go at the 36. Twins left and right. Beatty quickly back to the shotgun again. Gets a good snap. 3-step drop back to the 45. Pushed out of the pocket to the left. Just dumps it down on the ground over to the far left sideline. He had a rush coming at him and did not want to take a sack on that one. Incomplete pass in that left flat. And that will save him having a -4 or 5 in that backfield that time. We're trying to see who was going out there in the flat. I don't even think that was really where he wanted to throw the football. It says number 23 there. We don't have that on the roster, so I'm not sure who that was, but incomplete regardless.
Yeah, just trying to get the ball for another down and save his life, basically.
3rd down and 10 now from the 37. Eagle football. Twins left and right. Beatty gets a good shotgun snap. Handoff of the middle to Kennedy. Gets tripped up as he came across at 35. Able to keep his balance for a second, but it's only going to get 4 on the carry, so that's going to bring up another tough call here for Coach Stevens. I think they're going to probably go for it in El Paso territory. Kennedy now has 32 yards on the ground on 6 carries. 4th down and 6 for the Eagles at the 32 of El Paso Parkland. Another pair of receivers left and right. Beatty in the backfield with Kennedy. He's going to move from behind up to the left shoulder of his quarterback. Good snap, 2-step drop, pump fake. Tuck and go around the right side of the 30, putting his head down and diving, but he's well short of the first down. He got 3, but it needed to get to the 26, so shy by about 2 yards. He kind of slid on the field turf after he went down low and just could not keep his footing the way he wanted it.
Right, and of course those pursuers did not help him any at all. They were trying to get him down, and Brock was just trying to run for his life, just could not get to that marker.
Second turnover on downs for the Eagles, 3 punts as well. And now will be El Paso Parkland football, but can they take advantage of this possession here? 9-7 they lead over the Eagles with 8:19 remaining here in the second.
Got a quick update for you in Roswell. Lovington's leading right now. It is 21-6.
That's actually in Lovington tonight here in Lee County.
Oh, that's right, that's right.
On the blue turf. Trips right, receiver left. 1st and 10 from the 29 for the Parkland Matadors. Manzanares goes back to the 20. Throwing with the rush on, he dumps it to the right flat. It's blistered by the Eagles. Catch is made, but a lot of people putting a hit on Macias. And boy, talk about Tristan Davis putting a blow on somebody.
So, the both sides on defense are playing very strong right now. The offenses are just struggling a little bit.
That will be a complete pass, but a loss of 3 on the play. 2nd and 13. Manzanares back to pass again. The out route. The ball gets knocked down low. It looks like the defender got a piece of it, kind of a fade to the far sideline. And going over there to take a swat at the football to knock it away from the intended receiver on that far right sideline was Javen Hernandez, the DB. Incomplete pass.
It looked like Aiden Huff had a chance at getting that ball for the Matadors, and instead it goes down for a incomplete.
3rd down and about 2.5 now for Parkland, or make it 3rd down and 12.5 for Parkland on the right hash. Have it at the 26-yard line. Shotgun high. Manzanares is backing up. He throws it down the far sideline again on the fade. This is going to be enough for the first down, right to the first down marker. So getting 12 yards on it. Just waiting for that ball, and then just sprinting up the sideline was Jacoby Bernard.
They got him out of bounds about 3 yards short.
Oh, boy. Yeah, that was going to be 12, and it ends up being just 9 for Bernard. That's his 3rd catch for 16 yards, 6th reception for the Matadors, but now they're in a punt situation again on a 4th down and about close to 3 from the 36.
But unless they punt it, looks like they're going for it.
Trips left, receiver right, up the middle, goes the quarterback, diving ahead. He's short, his knee's going to go down after a 2-yard pickup. Kept it up the right hash that time, but not going to get it. Eagles get down low on him as that will keep him shy of the first down. Jaden Mazzari, a 2-yard pickup, but not enough, and Hobbs with some great field position in Parkland territory after the turnover on downs.
And it seems like both sides are trying to do similar things and getting the same results. Just a moment ago, Brock tried to do the same thing, got shortage on yards. And this time around, same thing for the Matadors, although it looks like they may measure this one to see if it's a first down. There is a question about that as the refs are gathered around the ball.
Yeah, they're meeting right where that play ended, about the 39-yard line on the right hash, and the Whitecap is calling official timeout. I think this is the first measurement we had this season with the 3 games we had so far, now this being number 4. Right now, Macias has 34 yards on the ground with 11 carries. He's the leading rusher. Top receiver at this point is Reese, 2 catches for 21 yards. For the Eagles offense, Kennedy has 6 carries for 32 yards, leading running back. And, boy, nice job for Henry so far. 3 catches for 49 yards, including a 35-yard touchdown off a pass to start the game. Eagles were up early, 7-0. So the markers are coming out here, the chains to measure this. 4th and short. Point of the football, maybe the sideline for the Matadors jumping up and down. The ump is not making the signal yet. Whitecap's in there too. They're really trying to get that chain straightened out. It's going to be a very close call here. Taking a lot of time to maneuver the sticks, and they give them the first down.
Wow.
Hobbs staff not too excited about that here. So that will be a first down pickup. That's going to be a total of 3 there, barely, for Missouri. So he's got 2 carries for 2 yards. He had a -1 to start it. That will be a first down pickup. Matadors with 3 and 4 first downs for the Eagles. 1st and 10, keeping the drive alive for the Matadors at their own 39-yard line. 7:38 left, second quarter, 9-7, El Paso Parkland. Twins left and right. Mazzari in the backfield waiting for that shotgun in a split formation. High snap. Handoff going from right to left, the crossing play, and it coming to the 40, but meeting a battering ram straight on. He might not have got back to the line. Maybe some forward progress there, but the Eagles aren't messing around.
Yeah, 1 yard at best was given on that liberal spot. So, yeah, but swarmed by 3 different Hobbs Eagles at the same time.
Yeah, Tristan Davis was in there, the defensive end as well for the Eagles, too. That was Amron Wheeler. They try to dump it out to the right side and met in the backfield and getting completely blitzed down and thrown down hard in the backfield. The man with the football was Kayla Martinez. He's going to wish he never had a piece of that one.
Exactly, because it took 4 different Eagles to finally bring him down. He just kept getting knocked back further. So his forward progress isn't going to count, and it looks like it's going to be back at the original line of scrimmage on that 8 yards.
So losing 3 on that one, 3rd down and 9 from the 40. Shotgun, Mazzari back to pass. He's going to get hit hard. The ball comes loose after a sack. Picked up on the scoop for the 20, but falling forward. And they're going to get the roll up at the 10-yard line up the far sideline. What a wallop. And the man to do it for the Hobbs Eagles and then recovering the fumble was Sammy Baeza. Hobbs football deep in Parkland territory at the 14-yard line, and that's what the doctor ordered, Ron.
Exactly, and to say that this defense is fired up is an underestimate. You know, now the Hobbs Eagles got to get it on offense and show that same fire, that same determination. They have a very short field to do it in, too.
Mazzari was back about 8 yards, never felt the presence, and it got wrapped up and slammed down. The ball scoots out. 1st and 10 for the Eagles at the 14 of the Matadors. Twins right, 1 receiver left. Shotgun for Baez, or make that Beatty. Back to pass. He'll fire with the comeback route at the 5. The ball's caught. And that's going to be, looks close to the 5-yard line.
Yeah, at least 9 yards.
And that's going to be to Henry, and they're going to give him 8. So Henry's starting to make his presence known in that receiving core. He's got 4 catches for 57 yards. 2nd down and 2 for the Eagles at about the 6.5-yard line.
In the red zone.
Want to take the lead here. They trail 9-7 with 6 minutes left, 2nd quarter. Twins right, receiver left, back to pass Beatty. 2-step drop into the shotgun. He's rolling right. He's looking for some help. Got a chase on him to the 10. He puts his head down, goes forward across the 5. Needed to get to about the 4, make it the 3.5-yard line. We'll see if he got it. Looks like he got about 2.5 at the minimum. Did he get 3 that he needed?
I see on one side he got 4, and the other side looked about 3.5. So it depends on where they put it, but it'd be very close. Looks like it's me 3rd and inches.
Yeah, give him about 2 on the play for the quarterback for the Eagles. That's his 2nd to 4th carry for 9 yards. 3rd down and short, less than a yard to go. They'll mark it at the 3-yard line on the right hash. I formation, ready for the shotgun. Twins left. Hand off to the left side. Seamus right. The sophomore cuts up the middle and scores. He headed left and cut it back up the middle. Saw an opening and scores a touchdown. So Seamus Wright, a 3-yard TD run. The first rushing touchdown of the game for the Eagles, and back in the lead, 13-9.
And we talked about the running game, the fact that they could go left or right, and they were having trouble up the middle. This time he does cut it up the middle and gets in perfectly, basically untouched for that score.
So a chance for the PAT now for the Eagles. 5:11 left in the half as we wait for the kick. And that'll be Beatty. Glad to see him back out there after hitting his head hard on the turf. The kick is up, and it is good. 5:11 left here in the 2nd quarter. Hobbs up by 5, 14-9 over El Paso Parkland. We're coming back strong with more Hobbs Eagle football in 60 seconds.
All right, welcome back to football action from the Hobbs Eagles as they just have taken the lead once again. They had it early on in this first 7-0, and now they've got it back again, 14-8 so far as the Eagles are about to kick off to the Parkland Matadors. And for the call, actually it's 14-9, here is Ty Friend.
Yeah, kind of a seesaw, dig-it-out battle going on here, kind of like we had last week with Hobbs and Roswell. That went to overtime, of course, a 2-point win for the Coyotes, but this one is anybody's victory possibility. We got a whole half of football left, though, with 5:11, though, in the 2nd quarter. Eagles kicking off from the 40, and here comes Beatty. Squib kick over the far sideline left. It bounces at the 35, but gets out of bounds, and that's more lucky for the Matadors because Hobbs had some good coverage up the sideline and get kind of hobbled as he tried to track that down for the Eagles was Adrian Mora. Might have turned his ankle a little bit, kind of tripped on that far sideline. He was the guy sprinting down there to try to get the pick up and go because that would have had the distance definitely for the onside kick. It did go out of bounds before he touched it, so they get to elect to take it where it was or add 5 or make him re-kick. They're going to take it at the 39-yard line. That's the right hash for El Paso. Parkland will be up, down by 5 with 5:11 left, second quarter. Of course, they're trying there for their first win of the season. They're 0-2 so far with losses against Ysleta and Riverside from El Paso.
Yeah, looks like Missouri was not really in the game or actually in the season, and this seems to be his first game he's been playing as a senior.
He's waiting for the shotgun. Twins left, 2 to the right side receivers as well from the 39. Fakes the handoff, dumps the screen to the left side, caught at the 40. Stutter step and spun back, and again looks like 6 yards on the forward progress. He got doubled up at the last second. 2 Hobbs Eagles on top of him as the catch was made by Carter Perez, his first of the ball game. So Perez getting some action. They're going to give him 6 on the catch. 7th reception for El Paso Parkland. That's 7 for 10 in the passing game. Second down and 4 now from their own 45-yard line, left hash. Twins left and right. Missouri gets it, hands it off around the right side of Macias. He gets bottled up quickly, maybe gets the line of scrimmage, a half an inch possibly on the forward progress. Eagles are going to track him from front and back that time as the man coming up from the linebacking core for the Eagles. Initial shot from Gustavo Diaz Castro.
And so far this quick offense is not getting or taking advantage of this defense. They are holding strong.
Third down and 4 from the 45, middle of the field. Mazzari going to throw it outside on the out route, and really not much of an out on that. We're just kind of diving backward for it, kind of lofting it up for grabs. Incomplete, dangerous throw out there as he tried to connect it to his receiver. Kind of dove towards the Hobbs Eagles sideline on the left. That was Kayla Martinez, incomplete. And just tasting a chance for a pick 6 there for the Hobbs was Adrian Moore, but it was thrown too far to the sideline.
And the weird thing is about at least 2 yards deep, so it would have been not a first down anyway. It would have been a 4th down and short, but still not sure exactly why you would want to do that.
Another sputter offensive series here, a 4th down and 4 for El Paso from the 44. High snap, they are going to punt it. And the kick is going back deep. Takes a bounce for Parkland. Continues to bounce back to the 18 where it's scooped up with some good coverage for the Matadors as getting hold of the football was Carter Perez. So Hobbs didn't get really a chance to return that one. The offense going to step out again for El Paso Parkland. That is their 4th punt of the ball game and 2 turnovers on downs. As the Hobbs Eagles going to get another chance for a series. They lead 14-9 with 4:10 left here in the first half.
Yeah, here's the advantage that Hobbs has. That only took about a minute for those 4 plays to happen for Matadors. So Hobbs still has plenty of time to go down the field for another score.
Just one receiver to the right. They bunch up with the stack receivers near the line of scrimmage on the left. Beatty with a shotgun with 1 man behind him. 2-step drop. He wants to sail the fade route of the near right sideline over the shoulder. Caught at the 50 and down to the 40-yard line. So going from the 19 to the 40 at the other end, as a man with the hands and the fingers, that's Justice French.
Exactly, the French tickler himself. Big play. They were looking for that. They had it several times when they tried, just could not connect. That time they did, and now they're in Matador territory.
40-yard reception for French, his first of the ball game. 1st and 10, the 5th first down of the game at the 40.5 of El Paso. On the right hash, shotgun to Beatty. He's looking again to the right side on a curl route, caught at the 33 and run out of bounds. That's his brother, Braddock Beatty. He didn't get to the first down marker, was trying the best he could, so Beatty will get the 9-yard pickup. He's got 3 catches for 11 yards. An 8th reception for the Eagles offense. 2nd down and short, about a yard to go. They need to get it to the 31, right now at the 32.
And the great news is looks like Braddock is okay, so he is able to play, and that is all we wanted to hear.
Twins right, receiver left for the Eagles. 3 in the backfield, including Beatty. Got 1 guy next to him on the right and 1 behind him. And they're moving around a lot in the backfield. They better get themselves set here. Now Beatty waiting for that snap. Low one, 2-step drop. He's going to fire the out route to the left side. Looked like the receiver got pushed in the back, and they're going to call that on the flag in front of the El Paso Parkland bench. Nice job for the Eagles getting out on that out route, and the big shove in the back is trying to get out open as Austin Chavarria. That's going to be a 15-yard penalty. More importantly, Ron, that's the first down. They only needed to get 1 on that play.
Exactly. That was 2 guys. Both of them, either one of them could have been called for the PI, But instead, either way, it goes for a positive yardage for the Hobbs Eagles, and it should be an easy first down, as you mentioned.
And the best part about that was the ball was in the air, so it can't just be a legal block. If the ball's in the air, that's a PI. Your receiver's not given the advantage he needs to get out there and make the catch.
Exactly, because nobody was able to get their hand on it to be able to touch it and deflect it.
That gets it up to the 16-yard line. Eagles first down. That's their fourth of the ball game, or fifth of the ball game, as they move it up to the 16 on the right hash. Trips left, receiver right. Beatty in the backfield with one man behind him.
Hobbs in the red zone.
I think that's Amarian Kennedy. He's going to move to the right shoulder of Beatty now, helping some blocking there. Back to pass, three-step drop. He's going to throw it over to Kennedy. Kind of a decoy that time. Looked like he was going to go block, and the ball was thrown down. I don't think Kennedy was looking back. It was about the 5 where the ball hit the turf, and Kennedy was just sprinting as fast as he could, but did not get the swivel with the head to make the catch there.
I think Kennedy was just a little bit faster than he needed to be. The play was perfect, though. If it would have been a connection, an easy touchdown from that mark over there, but again, just could not quite connect as it was just a little too fast for him.
Second down for the Eagles. Got to get to the 7-yard line right now at the, looks like the 16 and a half.
Right.
3:33 left. The clock stopped because of the incomplete pass here in the second quarter. Hobbs up by 5. Put a man in motion right to left. They hand off to the right side on the angle and bring it to the 15. 2-yard pickup. Just kind of plowing it down. They want to run some clock, too, because they don't want to give El Paso Parkland the time with the ball in the next possession if there is one. And that's a 2-yard pickup for Amarian Kennedy.
Exactly. Some of the times, or like with Roswell anyway, same thing happened. They give them too much time to be able to answer back, and Roswell did. They don't want Matadors doing the same thing.
7 carries, 34 yards for Kennedy. Third down and 9 now for the Eagles at the 15 of the Matadors. Twins left and right. Shotgun from the right hash. 3-step drop for Beatty. He's going to fire on the slant route. It's intercepted at the 10, up the near sideline left. 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. Into Hobbs territory. 40, cut back 30, back to the sideline. 25, 15, 10, 5, touchdown. I think the official missed a hold.
Oh, yeah.
And that's going to be a TD on the pick 6 up that left sideline. That's exactly what happened to the Eagles in Roswell on that left sideline. But there was a major hold at 15 on the return, which was missed.
Yeah, and I even saw it, too, as I was trying to get back on the angle on that one. And, yeah, it looked like there was one man to beat, got held up, and I don't know why it wasn't obvious, but it looked like either way a Matador touchdown with that pick 6.
And the pick 6 coming from Julian Gomez. He is a linebacker. He is the leading tackler on the team coming into this game with 31, but that was a pick 6. I'm sure he'd rather have a touchdown any old day compared to a tackle. And now the PAT kick coming from Julian Duenas is up, and it is good. So unfortunate, here we go again. Last week, a couple of big defensive plays hurt the Eagles, although they came back and almost won the game. Right there, major problem, as a pickoff was from about the 15-yard line, just a quick spot there, and that's about an 85-yard pick 6 for the touchdown. It's now 16-14, El Paso Park leading your Hobbs Eagles back in 30 seconds on the Hobbs Eagle Network. Live here at Watson Stadium, Ty Friend, Ron Gunner with you, and Tiffany Stuber back at the station. 16-14 El Paso Matador, but that was a gift box for the pick 6 there. Rambling with it for about 91 yards was Gomez. Got it from the near left sideline in front of the Hobbs Eagle bench, and got a couple of blocks up the sideline in front of the Hobbs Eagle sideline, but at about the 15 or 20 heading towards the end zone to score, a major hold and a rip. Yeah. The line judge got caught between the players that time and did not see the hold, which probably would have been at least a 10-yard penalty to back it up. They might have had it at the 30-yard line, but now 6 on the board plus the extra point 7.
Well, actually, it would have been at the spot of the foul, so it would have been further back. But either way, a missed opportunity, but Matadors do, they get that opportunity and they make the most of it, so they have the lead now. And Hobbs, of course, still has plenty of time. They've got a little over 2.5 minutes to go before this quarter ends and this half ends as well. So they want to get back on the horse and be able to get back on top.
Of course, last week the big problems that the Eagles had were those 2 turnovers that we mentioned, and kind of the same type of situation, a pickoff near the sideline and rambled in for a touchdown, a fumble. Both of them 40-plus yards on returns, 2 to score for Roswell, but Hobbs still only losing by 2 to the runner-up in the 5A last year. Getting ready for the kickoff now for the Parkland Matadors, Julian Dwinnis. He's going to keep this one high in the air, caught at the 24 far left sideline. Run towards the middle, zigzagging back to the left and getting thrown down like a steer. Some steer wrestling going on there. And looked like almost got grabbed by the helmet that time for the Eagles on the return. That was Justice French. And he's going to go down at the 26-yard line. So Hobbs now with another series. Some good time on the clock, too. I mean, you're going to get 2:33, so you can run the clock out, hopefully score before that happens, but still don't want to give El Paso any chances. And it's just unfortunate that the defense got on the scoreboard instead of the O for El Paso Parkland.
Exactly. I mean, you've got that defensive safety. You've got that touchdown right there. So you've got 9 points for the defense. Offense is still doing a little bit, but not as much as the Hobbs offense is. So you want to get that Hobbs offense out here and firing strong.
1st and 10, Eagle football from their own 26-yard line. Trailing here 16-14. Little shuffle pass, and wait, no, it was a fake pitch, and then he looked like he was going to shuffle it forward, but then hands it off behind him. He had a couple of guys in the backfield that time. Beatty looking at Amari and Kennedy. Faked the pitch left, thought he was going to shuffle pass it, but it makes Kennedy get dropped in the backfield. He's going to lose, looks like 5 yards on the play. Too much trickery that time, and the defense not getting fooled whatsoever.
Tried something different, and it did not happen, or it didn't work.
2nd down and 15 now from the 21. Shotgun to Beatty, twins left and right, 2-step drop, stays in the pocket. He goes with a flag route over the shoulder from the left to right to the sideline in front of the Hobbs Eagle bench. Over the shoulder and past the outstretched arms of Braddock Beatty, his brother, incomplete.
Yeah, it looked like it could have landed out of bounds, but either way, you're right about that. Just overthrown and another missed opportunity, so 3rd down.
3rd down and 15, still back at the 21-yard line. Very muggy night out here at Watson Stadium. Game 4 of the Eagles season, Game 3 for El Paso Parkland. Twins left and right. Beatty with the 3rd and 15 from the 21. Has Kennedy back with him. Some stunting going on the line from the linebacking core as they run up to the line and then back off. They've got 3 on the front. Pump fake for Beatty up the middle. Zigzags to the right to the 20, but way, way behind the line of scrimmage. He's going to lose about another 1.5 yards. Nothing doing that time as dancing around after the big wrap-up for Parkland was Angelo Ontiveros, the defensive end. Be a loss of 1 on the play for Beatty.
Yeah, it looked like the Matadors had at least 2 defensive players that were spying on the quarterback, and once he started running, they were able to get him with no problem.
And I just got done talking, Ron, about how we needed to run this clock out and get some scoring maybe at the last second there to make sure there was no time left. And right there, 1:53 left for El Paso Parkland to get another series, and that causes the Eagles to call timeout and discuss where they want to put this ball, because you don't want Parkland to have very great field position for a chance to tack on to a 2-point lead.
Exactly. It's just one simple play seems to be a momentum changer, and this time around it looks like the Matadors have the momentum going on their side as we're about to end this first half.
Looks like they're going to change the clock here, maybe move it up to 1:57, so a 4-second ad there. Hobbs back in the punt, of course. They have a 4th down and 16 to worry about here. No way they're going to go with a fake now, but got to make sure they get some good air time on this ball and get their coverage men down the field. They bring a man in motion left to right, and that is Adrian Mora. We got whistles on the line and flags flying, so probably a motion penalty here.
Yes, indeed.
Coming from the sidelines. Yep, procedure against the Eagles. False start, and that'll be a 5-yard penalty. That's their 4th of the ball game for 20 total. Back them up 5. And again, that's not what you want to do on a punt situation, especially when that's going to give El Paso Matador better field position. And hopefully you don't shank it. You shank it, and they're going to be possibly near the red zone, and that's not a very good situation here towards the end of the 2nd quarter.
Exactly. The only viable thing to do is kick away from the receiver and hope it bounces to near the end zone.
High snap, having to chase to the right and finally getting a good spiral on this punt, though. Past the 50-yard line, is going to keep going up the sideline. It might have been touched by Macias. Did he get a hand on it or not? Ball bounced off looked like his hand, and recovering it for the Eagles was the linebacker, Tristan Davis, on the near left sideline at the 39. Officials say no, but it looked like Macias went up in the air and kind of got his hand fanned out there, and boy, that was close.
And if that would have been a live ball, that would have been a whole different situation. But unfortunately, I think what he did was he was just trying to pin him down before they got positive yardage on that one, and did the best he could with getting it trapped.
And I think he might have been trying to do a fake fair catch signal, which is a penalty. I don't know. He kind of had his hand flashing up in the air and just kind of put it in front of the defender's face. And I don't know if that's really a legal signal that he was trying to do there, if that's what it was. Twins left and right. It's going to be Parkland football at the 37 on their left hash. Manzano fumbles the football in the backfield on the handoff. Eagles look like they've recovered.
And they did.
A very nonchalant handoff. The man that recovers in the backfield for the Eagles was Xavier Garcia, and it will be Hobbs football. Boy, what a mistake there from the quarterback, the backup who came in the second quarter. Jaden Mazzare, his running back was going left to right and just kind of barely laid it on his fingers. He might have been trying to pull it out there, but that's a major backfire and a mistake for Parkland.
And that might be indicative of how this Matador season has gone so far.
They have only 3 games in, though. It's Hobbs football, 1st and 10 from the Parkland 34. And the football up the gut, and getting his head down is Kennedy. Angles right at the last second and gets out to the 27-yard line. That's going to be an 8-yard pickup for Kennedy. That was the first turnover of the ball. The second turnover of the ball game for this Parkland squad. Second down and a long 3, I should say. Bad snap. The handoff low, and just barely getting in the gut of his running back, Kennedy. The snap was near the turf that time. Good job of Beatty to get a hold of it, but unfortunately that's going to lose about 1.5 yards for Kennedy, who could never get the handoff the way he wanted it.
Yeah, and hoping that we can get more positive yards before this half ends.
3rd down and 4, and flags are flying off the snap, and it looks like one of the Parkland Matador players is signaling for the officials what the call's going to be with a false start as he does that traveling signal like in basketball at Tyree Valario, the defensive end, as he kind of just started high-stepping in the Eagle backfield and showing that signal for the officials, and that's a 5-yard backup for the Eagles. So they're shooting themselves in the foot here, back to a 3rd and 10 now at the Parkland Matador 33.
Under a minute to go, though.
48 seconds and counting, 16-14 Parkland. 3-step drop into the shotgun. Beatty's going to fire down the middle of the seam route, wide open at the goal line, touchdown! Nobody there at all, 34 yards, and the score. Where was the deep secondary for the Matadors? Nowhere to be found.
It looked like Josh Ortiz. We talked about him earlier as being a slot receiver.
Let me double check that number. Of course, they turned the lights out on us at the wrong time. And actually, I believe that was Ortiz. You're right. Yeah, he came in at that slot position. What was that, 34 yards? So he's getting his chance to get some time in this game and makes it well worth it. So 34-yard pass play for the touchdown. They're going to go for 2, and they launch the pass out to the right side of the end zone. Overthrows the receiver, does Beatty, as that was intended for Seamus Wright, the sophomore, but that will be no good, and the Eagles hold on to a lead, though, 20-16 with 41 seconds left here in the first half. We'll take a quick 30-second break and come back with more Hobbs Eagle football. Your Hobbs Eagles take a lead late here in the second quarter, 20-16 over El Paso Parkland. After a big pass play from Beatty as he hooks up with Jacob Ortiz, the slot back, wide open. There's 2 receivers wide open near the goal line for the Eagles, and Ortiz the recipient of that score. Kickoff coming for the Eagles. They're to keep it end over end. Catch made at the 17 up the far right sideline. 20, 25, hippity hop, 30. Out of bounds at the 32 as he's thrown out in front of the El Paso Parkland bench. The return man was the receiver, Reese. Not the worst field position, but not a lot of time to work with. 37 seconds left for the Matadors here in the first half. They trail by 4. I'll have the football at the, looks like the 30-yard line on the right hash.
I don't expect the Matadors to come out here and make any plays after that last time when they simply had a handoff that just went awry and ended up on the ground for a fumble turnover. So I'm expecting to see, although you never know, I mean, they need to take opportunities they can, but They can't do that again. Otherwise, it'll cost them another 6 or 7 points.
Looks like they have 2 timeouts remaining here with a 1st and 10 from their own 30. Right hash. Go with the trips left, 1 receiver right. The backup quarterback still out there. That is Mazzari. He's going to go with the handoff up the middle, and that's going to be, looks like just a clock runner here. Not much going on there. A couple yards on the forward progress, 2 or 3 or so. Macias, I believe, was the ball carrier that time. Yep, Macias gets 3. He continues to be the guy that they like to give the ball off, of course, to averaging over 180 yards a game in the previous 2 games.
Down to 10.
He's got 35 tonight. 2nd down and 8 now for Matadors. Trips left, receiver right. Back to him again up the middle. Macias, 35, 40, 43. Keeps moving the pile. He's going to get 10, but that's going to run out the clock. So not much damage done with that at the end of the halftime here, first half. Hobbs leading 20-16 over El Paso Parkland. Kind of a back-and-forth game so far. Not the prettiest of contests. Lots of punts, turnovers on downs, and some turnovers too, but the Eagles at the 4-point lead.
Yeah.
We'll take a 3-minute break, come back with the Hobbs Eagle halftime show. You're listening live to Eagles football on Cool 95.7, HobbsAmerica.com. Welcome back to halftime here at Watson Stadium. Your Hobbs Eagles leading 20-16 over El Paso Parkland. They're recognizing some special teachers on the field right now, and also the Hobbs Marching Band getting ready to perform here at halftime. Ty friend Ron Gunner with you, and Tiffany Stuber back at the station. Ron, just a 4-point game at this point. Kind of a back-and-forth type of affair. Hobbs led first here in the first quarter, 7-0 after about 6:21 into the game. Beatty to Henry on a passing play, 35 yards for a touchdown. So they were up 7-0, but unfortunately got sacked or almost sacked in the end zone on their next series. The safety was called. They tried to throw a pass away to get away from the pressure, and that was a penalty in the end zone, so that's an automatic safety. So down or up 7-2 at that point. That's the end of the scoring in the first quarter. Second quarter, it was kind of back and forth. A 16-yard pass for this Parkland Matadors team to Reese made it 9-7, and I believe that was the original quarterback that was in the game at that time. I'm not sure what happened to Molina, but he left part way into that second quarter, and they brought in that another quarterback, the senior, Jaden Missouri. So we're not quite sure what happened. There was a lot of high snaps to their starter Molina, but I didn't see him go down hard, but that might be an injury situation there. But with that pass reception, they were up 9-7. About 11:51 left in the second. Hobbs did manage to come back with a 3-yard run for Seamus Wright, the sophomore, with about 5:11 left second quarter, and then got up 14-9. That second quarter really drug, it seemed like. Both teams just kind of trying to feel each other out, and a lot of turnovers and stop clocks and things of that nature.
Right.
So 14-9, the Eagles led with about 5 minutes left. But it wasn't done for Matadors, as they did get Gomez on a 91-yard interception, pick six, to get into the end zone with 2 minutes left in the second. They were up 16-14, so everybody thought, okay, Hobbs will just try to sail the course here and maybe get into the halftime with a 2-point deficit. But no, they weren't done. Big pass play from Beatty to Ortiz. Got a start tonight at the slot position as Josh Ortiz able to just kind of wait near the goal line on a post route, and he had another teammate off to his left shoulder. He was wide open too and just waited for the ball. Major missed coverage by the deep secondary there for El Paso Parkland, just waiting for the football, touchdown, and that was the halftime score of 20-16. So teams been making some mistakes out there. Some penalties have been costing them a little bit, but the turnovers did hurt. Hobbs did have an interception that cost him some big ones. Also the safety too. Eagles punted 3 times and turnover on downs twice. On the other side of the coin, it was 4 punts for El Paso Parkland, 2 turnovers on downs and 2 fumbles. So you really, when you add up all those together, you're talking give up on the football 8 times for El Paso Parkland, and for the Hobbs Eagles 6 times.
And you're talking about that one play that looked like there should have been some laundry on the field, but there wasn't. A pick six that went from basically one side of the field to the other for that touchdown. Looked like it was going to be something that was going to be called back, but the Matadors do get that touchdown and help them out as far as their cause. They really have struggled in the offense. They've done some things, but it seems like since they've switched quarterbacks, I think the thinking, if I would have been the coach anyway, would have been to try to see if they can get something different going on. They were struggling on the offense against our defense, and I was thinking if they change the quarterbacks, maybe they get some different results. But so far, it's been seems like they get them a lot in the backfield and get them for losses, and so it seems to have slowed down this Matador team. But still, they're in it with, 4 points difference right now.
Yeah, the thing about the quarterback, too, we didn't see an injury for Molina, but maybe that did happen. He was having trouble coming down with some of the shotgun snaps, and he's a little bit taller than his backup, Jaden Missouri, when he came in. I mean, he's probably gave up 3 or 4 more inches than what the starting quarterback did. So it was even more of a problem for him to kind of corral some of those shotgun snaps.
But I also thought it was about the junior versus the senior. I thought go ahead and give the senior a try and see if he can make things better for the Matadors.
Yeah, we'll try to spot to see what's happening with that starting quarterback as we come back here in the second half. Look at the numbers, first of all, for the Matadors. Their leading rusher, Macias, 15 carries for 63 yards. He's yet to get into the end zone, but does have a couple double-digit runs, 10 in the first quarter for 10 and 1 for 10 in the second quarter. Other than that, though, one other guy has positive yardage, and that is Reese, the receiver. He ran once for 1 yard. A couple other guys are negatives at this point. So only 54 yards on the ground so far for Parkland. We were kept boasting about how big their rushing game was, especially with Macias averaging over 180 yards a contest in the 2 that they played before this. But the Eagles have been pretty much sustaining him at this point and taking care of him. No big time runs except for a couple 10-yarders. That's about it. So 54 on the ground for the Matadors. The passing department, they're leading Yardage guy so far was Reese, 2 catches for 21. Bernard had 3 for 16. 1 for 7 for Enriquez, and one other guy pulling one down in the first half, and that was Carter Perez for 6. They've converted on 8 of 12 passes so far for 47 yards. So not a lot of offense, just barely beating the century mark at 101 in the first half of action. They've had those 2 fumble giveaways, too, on the turnovers. Penalty situations so far, they had a couple big 15-yarders of PI, and then they also had a targeting penalty for 45 total in the first half of action. For your Hobbs Eagles, leading in the rushing game is Amarian Kennedy, 10 carries for 35 yards. His long was 9, had another one of 8, has not yet made it to the end zone, but good to see him back in uniform after going down pretty hard against Roswell last week with an injury. I definitely had some taping done on that ankle this week. Brock Beatty, the quarterback, 5 carries for 8 yards so far. Seamus Wright had 3 carries for 3, and that 3 yards that he did get at the last of his 3rd carries was a touchdown rush for the sophomore. Great job for him to get into the end zone. And French had an early run for 5 yards, 1 for 5 total. Eagles, in terms of the running game so far, 51 yards on 19 carries. Triple digits in the passing game, though, as Henry with 4 catches for 57 yards. He had a 35-yard reception to get things going in the first quarter for the Eagles, so definitely doing a good job getting the end zone on that one. French had a big catch in the second quarter for 40 yards. It was Ortiz that caught the 34-yard touchdown reception deep in the second quarter, 1 for 34. And also Kennedy, 1 for 16. So a lot of guys getting some big double-digit catches in that first half of action. Beatty was 5 of 23, or 10 of 23 in the first half in terms of the passing game for 158. So 209 total yards in the first half unofficially compared to 101. So doubling up on the El Paso Parkland Matadors in terms of offensive production. Eagles had 5 penalties for 25 yards, 3 punts, 2 turnovers on downs, and 1 interception in the turnover game. Hobbs with 5 first downs, 3 for Parkland.
Yeah, and one of the things that we need to watch out for, because Parkland was able for a moment to go ahead and have a successful drive. It was quick. It seemed like they were doing a lot of running and being able to get Hobbs on their heels, and they were able to get that touchdown early on in this game. But it could come out to where they do the adjustments, and instead of trying to pass, they may go back to that schematic and see if they can get Hobbs to be able to move back and get a couple more scores. Hopefully Hobbs, though, will be able to learn this, adjust, and be able to get that game stopped.
Halftime score, 20-16. Your Hobbs Eagles leading El Paso Parkland. We'll take another 4-minute break, get you ready for second half action. You're listening to Hobbs Eagle Football live on Cool 95.7 and on the internet, HobbsAmerica.com.
Welcome back to Hobbs football action as we're here live at Watson Stadium Memorial. And yes, it is a close one. It is 20-16. We're still in halftime. And I want to remind everybody that we're still having some trouble. Actually, I think it's a more of a YouTube situation, that we're not on YouTube, but we're still on HobbsAmerica.com. We're also on Facebook page on Cool 95.7. And, of course, you can always catch us on the radio at Cool 95.7. But we're showing you live these actions. Of course, it's all for free. We also want to give a shout-out real quick to the class of 1994 for being here and for celebrating a reunion. I wasn't aware of that till just moments ago. So definitely going to give a shout-out to the class of 1994, just a little bit beyond our years, right?
Yeah, true. Hey, back going to that YouTube situation, that's a national issue this week. We just got an email this morning that there was going to be some possible technical issues with YouTube across the country. So it's not just us. Let's let you know that. But HobbsAmerica.com, of course, you get the game just the same you do on YouTube. We'll see if we can try to get that replay put back on YouTube once he can get a chance to get that recording taken care of after the game.
Once the issues are resolved, and we don't know exactly how that's going to be. Again, that's not out of our hands right now. We would love to be on YouTube, but unfortunately, because of that situation, we do still have two other avenues that we can go to. HobbsAmerica.com, as well as Cool 95.7 on the Facebook page. You can definitely catch those games on there anytime, now or afterwards, to watch this fun game so far we've had.
And looks like the band has completed their halftime show. Eagles out there to warm up. Same with El Paso Parkland. We'll take a 2-minute break and come back with second half action. 20-16, your Eagles leading the Parkland Matadors. Back live here at Watson Stadium. Ty friend Ron Gunner with you. Final game of the pre-district schedule here at Watson. Hobbs leading El Paso Parkland 20-16. And Ron, last night you were following that Las Cruces game, playing Cleveland. A very tough matchup, and that's their last, or they got one more game that was their last pre-district game. Of course, we got Las Cruces next week, but tell us a little bit about that game.
Well, it was early on. Las Cruces had a 13-7 lead in the first quarter. Cleveland was able to come back and blank Las Cruces in the second quarter, made it 14-13.5, and it ended up being 35-25 with a Cleveland win over Las Cruces. They fought off strong in the first, but faded in the second half. I've seen a lot of teams do that against Cleveland, especially Hobbs did that last year too. But, yeah, they are tough, and looks like that is the next opponent for Hobbs.
And what about that score last week? Boy, Centennial whipping Artesia 70-30-something. I mean, completely blowing them out there. And, of course, Artesia lost their first two games in a row for quite a few years, and not in the great shape that they usually are at this time of the season. But they're playing some tough teams. Hobbs, of course. Here's the kickoff. Eagles are going to kick first, and it's going to bounce off a couple of return men at the 15. They ran into each other first. And that's not going to be the return that they want to see to start the second half, especially with the Eagles in the lead. The return guy that got the ball and ran into his teammate over there on the far right sideline was number 10 for the Matadors. That's Kayla Martinez. So not good field position to get it started, and Hobbs just kind of waited for this big pinball action to get kind of unloaded, and then they took a swallop on them and knock them to the ground.
And I hope I got that because it looked like there was a lot of acrobatic things going on, especially for the Hobbs side, trying to get that runner to go down. And once he was, it was a quick takedown.
So not good field position, probably the worst of the game right now for the Matadors, who trail the Eagles 20-16. They'll have the football at their own 14-yard line. Trips left, receiver right, shotgun. High snap, the handoff up the middle, and there's Macias trying to take the wall with him, and not much going on. They still have that backup quarterback in the game, Jaden Mazzare. We'll try to see if we can find Molina on the sideline because he's been gone since the early part of the second quarter. That will be Mazares gets about a yard only on that play as he came in to this second half with 63 yards, now 64. Trips left, receiver right, shotgun. Mazares going to take it himself. The quarterback gets spun around the left end, falls forward about to the 18. He'll get about 3 more on that carry as the Hobbs Eagles shut him down quickly from the linebacking core. Tristan Davis with the wrap up.
So it looks like about 3rd and 6 from the marker.
That's the 4th carry for the backup quarterback Mazares. He's got the total of 4 carries for -3. Shotgun. 2-step drop, the tuck and go. Now that was Reese, the receiver, that got the quick snap in the backfield by himself. Did a little head juke, and he got up the middle, but there's a flag halfway through the run. So it might be a hold penalty there near the line of scrimmage. We'll have to wait and see, but Reese just got down like a bullet and went forward on the quick snap. He is the receiver for Parkland.
Matadors pointing against Hobbs, so we thought it was going to be a hold against the Matadors, but it may be against the Hobbs Eagles.
I wonder what the heck the call would be halfway through the drive there. Ooh, they're going to move it, the chains. Why are they moving the chains if the referees are still discussing this call here? And the chain man on the far sideline went ahead and moved the chains forward for a first down, and they haven't even made a signal yet.
I think they declined that penalty is
let's see
what's going to happen.
We haven't seen a hand signal yet. Here's a white cap coming to the press box side. Face mask again. Oh, that's why Reese dove down low. And look, I was wondering why he went down so quickly, but they got his face mask. That's what did it, and it submerged him pretty quick. So 15 yards for the Hobbs Eagles. That's only their 6th penalty for 40 total, and will move the chains for El Paso Parkland, their 4th first down. 1st and 10 from the 31. Shotgun. Mazares hands it off up the middle. Macias is going forward, and there's a helmet flying off. One of the linemen for El Paso Parkland, and that's going to be the big kid that's going to have to take a seat after he lost his helmet. That's Gael Villalobos, the offensive lineman. And that's going to be a 4-yard pickup for Macias.
Yeah, and the junior had to get off the field for one play.
Hurry up offense, 2nd and 6 from the 35. Shotgun snap up the middle with the handoff. Then try to angle right and try to drag some people with them. Ball was in the hands that time of Kayla Martinez. So they're starting to see some more guys getting the chance for the pitches and the handoffs and the quick snaps. And that's going to be about a 2-yard pickup for Martinez.
Well, we talked about the fact that the Matadors might come out here and do something like this with a run scheme.
Martinez with his 2nd carry for -1. There's a bad snap in the backfield, and they're going to call it dead, though. Looks like possibly a false start. And that's luckily for at least the Matadors. That was a bad snap. Rolling on the ground trying to scoop it up was Reese.
Yeah, and that avoided a 4th and long at that point because even if they would have gotten it, it would have been behind the line of scrimmage or the original line of scrimmage, and they would have been 4th and have to punt situation.
6 penalties for 50 yards now for Parkland. They'll back them up 5. That'll be behind or close to the original line of scrimmage. And wait to see. They got it to 31. That's where they started from. So 3rd down and 10 now from their own 31-yard line. Middle of the field with 10 minutes left, 3rd quarter. It's 20-16 Eagles leading Parkland. Trips left, receivers 2 to the right side. Shotgun, Mazares back to pass, 3-step drop, gets a chase, stays in the pocket. He's going to get swallowed up and dropped to the 20. Big loss on the play. Looks like 11 as the Hobbs Eagles just kind of collapsed on him.
Yeah, the right place, right time, though. That drove them back, and it's going to be 4th and a very long at this time, and Matadors have no other choice but to punt it at this point.
Ivan Vargas getting through the line there for the Eagles. 11 is the loss there for Mazares.
So, yeah, 4th and 21 is what they're looking at right now.
5 carries, minus 14 for the backup quarterback. Trips left, receiver right. Definitely have to punt this one. And he's going to get this one away. He's going to sail back, takes a big roll for El Paso, past the 40 in Hobbs territory, and past the 30. It keeps rolling on the right hash. And it finally tapped dead for the Matadors by the hands of Arturo Silva. So good punt there as it continues to roll. And Hobbs will get the possession, 1st and 10 from their own 29-yard line. They hurry and get their players on the field, too. And they're trying to keep a tired Matador squad. They had to travel about 4.5 hours to get here from El Paso. 9-10 left, third quarter. Hobbs up by 4, 20-16. Hurry up offense going. By the way, that was the 5th punt of the ball game for El Paso Parkland. Now the Whitecaps going to slow the game down a little bit and say, guys, hey, everybody gets a chance to get set up, get their players back on the field after a change of possession. Eagles in the offensive set, twins left, receiver right. Stacked in the backfield, the 2 running backs and the shotgun to Beatty. Hand off to the tailbacker on the right end, to the 30. And Seamus Wright gets thrown out of bounds at the 31-yard line. He's going to get 2 yards on that one. Wright with 4 carries for 5 yards total. The sophomore continues to chug it hard for the Eagles. And he's kind of a smaller kid, but he puts his body on the line against the big boys.
He does, and no matter who's against him, he's always going to try to go forward and make the most yardage.
That'll be a gain of 2 as mentioned. 2nd down and 8 from the 32 of the Eagles, leading by the 4 points. Twins left, 1 receiver right. Beatty back a shotgun with his 2 backs. 2-step drop. He's going to fire the fade route near sideline over the shoulder. Back pedal, almost a catch at the 40 of the Matadors. The ball came a little bit lower than about the thigh area and trying to get his hands coming back for Justice French. And boy, what an effort that time as he got kind of down in a crouch. He couldn't get his legs back underneath the football, but was backpedaling at the same time with between 2 defenders. Definitely a major acrobatic effort there.
Exactly. That would have been a heck of a crowd pleaser if he would have been able to catch it. However, it did fall short and was uncatchable, so 3rd down.
3rd down and 8 from the 31 of the Eagles on the right hash. They completed 10 passes in the first half. The leader was Henry with 4 for 57. Eagles send 2 receivers both sides of the line. Beatty looks over to the sideline to get a last-second call. 5 in the front box for El Paso. He's going to get flushed out of the pocket. Rolls left, tucks and goes to the 20, stretches out, 25, but an ankle sweep tackle. 5-yard drop in the backfield heading towards the Matador sideline on the far side. The man from behind just kind of ripped those ankles and pulled him down to the ground, and that's a nice job of tracking by Christian Martinez. Loss of 5 on the play for Beatty.
Yeah, but more unfortunately now it is 4th down once again. So both sides have had 4th down. This time around looks like it's going to be another punt situation for the Hobbs Eagles.
4th down and 14 from the 25-yard line, left hash. Clock to 7:50 left, third quarter. Eagles still holding on to a 4-point lead with the halftime score, 20-16. Double checking to make sure that's still Beatty back there. I don't think it is. They might have switched up their punter. Kind of a high snap there, and they'll get it away. It is Beatty. It's going to go back deep towards the sideline in front of the El Paso bench, fading left, and it goes out near the 40. So good field position for El Paso Parkland to get another shot at it here. Hobbs now punting for their 4th time of the ball game, and that's going to get Parkland near midfield at the 41-yard line. They trail by 4. So here we go with the chess match again here in the third quarter, Ron.
Yeah, just like the first quarter where teams are going back and forth, just not able to get anything going, any traction. I just blame this on the fact that the defenses are playing super strong right now, and the offenses have no answer to it.
Back to live action on the line of scrimmage at the 41. Mazzari waiting for the shotgun. Twins left and right. Gets a good snap. Heading right quickly to the 40. And it might have been Reese that just stepped in. He's been getting some quick snaps there. The wide receiver, we'll double check if they made a switch up there. Yep, that was him. So it will be Reese to get the 1 yard. And he stretched it out so long, didn't really get the 4 yards he wanted. Does get 1 on that one. And that will be his 2nd run for 2 yards total. 2nd and 9 now from the 43. Trips left, receivers to the right. Shotgun. Reese again up the middle. 45, 50 into Hobbs territory, angling right. And he's going to get about 10 on the play. So Reese is starting to get the ball now. Kind of a lanky kid. 11 on that one brings the first down up to 5 for El Paso Matadors. Hurry up offense now at the Eagle 47 on the right hash. And both teams are going pretty hot and heavy with those hurry ups in the first half.
Exactly, but Hobbs will learn to protect the middle from now on.
4 in the front line for the Eagle defense. Quick snap to Reese. Going to the right side to the 45, 40, 35 as he broke a tackle. He's going to get 14. Looks like 13 there for Reese. And so they're starting to see some openings in the gaps there. So back-to-back double-digit runs. He's got 26 total in terms of yardage. 1st and 10 now from the 34. 6 first downs for El Paso Parkland in Hobbs Eagle territory. A little more of a delay on the snap count this time, and a direct handoff from Reese, who's the third guy that's been at quarterback, if you want to call him that. Macias gets the handoff, but he's met in the backfield. I don't think he got back to the line of scrimmage that time.
If he did, just barely. No, he did get back to the line of scrimmage. But this offense so far is clicking just like they did in their drive that scored earlier in this game.
Twins left and right. Back to a shotgun is Reese. Standard quarterback now. Give to Macias around the right end to the 35. 30, heading to the El Paso Parkland sideline to the 30, looks like the 29. Looks 4 for Macias. He's only had 4 carries in the second half, but a total of 72 yards, averaging over 180 a ball game. And those contests they already played earlier this season in El Paso. 3rd down and 7 now from the Eagle 29. Twins left and right. Reese will be in the backfield and has Macias on his left shoulder. Eagles got a blitz around the right end, and now coming up the middle is Reese. Took the quick snap and quarterback keeper. And he's going to be short of the first down by about 2 yards. Is able to pick up, looks like 3 on that one.
Yeah, had a good run, but couldn't get past that defensive line, and they stopped him short, like you said, almost 3 yards, but it looks like two long yards.
Yeah, remember Reese is the starting wide receiver, has got the 3rd position at quarterback in this game. Trips left, receiver right, 4th down and a long 2.5. Big play here for El Paso Parkland, trailing the Eagles by 4 on the right hash. Eagles right side of the line, might have been offsides. They don't throw the flag, though. The slant route caught at the 20 and will be a first down.
Yeah.
At 8 yards on the pickup that time for the catch. As coming down with it on a quick slant was Arturo Silva.
Looked like it was going to get a bad snap. He ended up catching that and throwing it over there to the middle for that first down completion.
That'll be the 9th completion of the game. 8 yards to Silva. 1st and 10 from the 19. The handoff up the middle. Macias is trying to drag people with him. Got away from one and then just pulls the wall as best he could. Bunch of black and golds on top of him that time, middle of the field. And that looks like a 4-yard pickup for Macias. That's pretty much what he's been averaging in this 3rd quarter. He's got 3 carries of 4. Hurry up offense, 2nd down and 7. Reese gets a high shotgun step, hand around the left end of Macias, angling back up the middle of the 10, down to the 5. Another first down. That's going to be about 8 for Macias, so they're moving the chains again. 8 first downs now for the Matadors. They're not going to hold up at all. They're back on the line of scrimmage on the hurry up.
1st and goal at 7.
Yep, no more chances for first here. Split formation backfield. Reese gets the shotgun snap, heads down the middle of the field, finds the gap, and stumbles into the end zone for the touchdown. 7-yard pickup and a score for the triple quarterback of this game, the 3rd one in the line, and he's into the end zone.
Yeah, and made that look pretty simple as, like you said, just had to run it up the middle, avoid a couple of tackles, and he fell forward for the touchdown.
So a chance for a PAT here with 4:14 left here in the 3rd. It's 22-20. As we get ready, there's whistles blowing all over the place down in the line of scrimmage. Getting ready for the kick for Julian Duenas.
Yeah, that'll give everybody at least a breath of fresh air and to be able to catch their breath as well.
5-yard penalty against the Eagles offsides. Really doesn't help much in the kicking game, though, if you move from the 3 to the 1.5-yard line, half the distance.
Right. Doesn't matter. Yeah, you're right as far as a punt.
But it might be bringing in more personnel here, as it looks like Coach Werder wants to maybe go for 2 instead. They have a 2-point lead. Not sure if 4 is going to really make a difference. Maybe they're just worried about a field goal winning the game for Hobbs instead. So they're going to try to make it 4 to keep away from the field goal situation here.
Another late comer for the Matadors.
They had a guy running on from the sideline, and they tried to snap, and he was still trying to get to the line of scrimmage. Late sub coming in. Now they're going to just move it back 5 after a major mistake. 10 guys on the field, and I guarantee you right now there's going to be some backside chewing by Coach McWhirter after giving up a 5-yard penalty after gaining 5 just prior to that on an offside penalty on the Eagles. So both teams trading them now. And that's going to bring up another opportunity here for a PAT. We're going to see if they're going to stick with a kick or maybe go back to the 2-point look. Again, I think that's a pretty smart deal there to try to get up by the 4 points, because this
Right.
game could go down to a field goal. The Eagles definitely would like the chance to win it no matter any way they can. They're going to kick it this time, and it's going to be marked about the 13. That'll be a 23-yard PAT attempt here for Duenas. The holder was moved up way too far, and his kicker says, I need some more yardage here to back up, and had to jump up and return about 3 more yards. Here's the hold. The kick is up, and Duenas nails it. Good for the extra point. So it took a little bit of time to get that all established, but they get on the scoreboard again. And now a 3-point lead, 23-20, as El Paso Parkland now has that field goal lead with 4:14 remaining in the third. We'll take a quick 30-second break, come back with more Hobbs Eagle football at Cool 95.7, HobbsAmerica.com. Another lead change here at Watson Stadium. El Paso Parkland now up 23-20 over your Eagles. 4:14 left in the third quarter. And that hurry-up offense has been kind of a win sucker for both teams. They've both been trying it quite a bit in these last few quarters. And I'm sure after this game, there's going to be some people having a nice weekend of rest, as it's been a tough one with the humidity out there as well. Here's the kickoff from Duenas, a high sailor to the far left sideline. Caught in transition from the 28 up the middle now. The 30. Back zigzag to the left to the 35 and 40. Tripped up in the last second. Trying to find some open gaps there for the Eagles. Return man Justice French gets in front of the El Paso Parkland sideline far left. But some great field position for the Eagles nonetheless at the 40-yard line, Ron.
Yeah, and it looked like he had some real estate ahead of him and was going to be able to break it open, but unfortunately Matadors were able to stop him. But still, pretty good field position for the Hobbs Eagles at this point.
Ball marked on the left hash at the 40-yard line. Hobbs trailing by 3. Trying to get their second win of the season. Right now at 1-2. El Paso Parkland at 0-2. Trips right, receiver 1 to the left side. Back in shotgun is Beatty, has one man behind him. 2-step drop, fakes the handoff. He wants to fire the curl route. Caught at the 45 from Braddock. Beatty cuts into the middle of the field, slips by a defender, and dives down towards the first down marker, right in the middle of the H logo in the middle of the Watson Stadium field. I think they give him just enough for the first. Yep, they're moving the chains. 10 yards for Braddock Beatty.
You're right, and just like with El Paso Parkland, they're getting what they can, but getting those little gains and moving the ball forward.
That's the first reception for the second half for the Eagles, as that will be 4 catches for 21 yards for Beatty. 1st and 10. I believe somebody just called a timeout here. I'm kind of wondering about burning timeouts this early in the third quarter, because this game might go down to the wire like we had last week, Ron, in overtime. Eagles losing by a mere 2 points to Roswell.
Well, I mean, Parkland just saw the fact that, they have a timeout because of an injury.
Oh, there we go.
That'd be the reason why. But otherwise, I was thinking, they saw that Parkland themselves had run down the field quickly as possible, were able to score. Maybe if you stop that momentum, it will slow down the Hobbs Eagles. But instead, it is an injury timeout on the field. So
we'll take a quick one here. 3:59 left, third quarter. It's 23-20 El Paso Parkland. Back in half a minute on your Hobbs Eagle Network.
welcome back, as we are still under a injury timeout for the Matadors, but we have a game, a close one, as Hobbs is on the field offensively. 23-20 is the score. They're down by 3. And with the call, here is your friend, my friend. It is Ty Friend.
Yeah, Matador injury back at the 35-yard line. Looks like something to do with the right leg. And, of course, we talked about this in the pregame. A lot of humidity and heat down there is going to cause some muscle cramps. It looks like they're trying to stretch a leg out. They're removing the player right now, trying to see who that is down there for the Matadors.
Looked like it was number 18. And that adds up to
Nope,
Raphael.
hold on. I don't think that's 10. Number 10 for El Paso.
Okay.
That's going to be Kayla Martinez, and he's been a big offensive threat here for the Hobbs here in the second half.
Saw those cramps yesterday in Fort Sumner, so it's something that just needs to be a little more conditioning.
First down and 10 from the 50 for the Eagles. Beatty gets a shotgun snap, looks and fires the out route. It bounces off the hands of the receiver far left sideline for the El Paso Parkland bench. Had some tough pressure on his backside, too. I think he was getting ready to be hit hard once he possibly would have caught that one, but it zings through his fingertips. Might have been thrown a little bit hard that time, a zinger through the hands.
Is that Austin?
Yeah, I think it might be Chavarria. Yep, number 18. That is Chavarria. Was making sure that wasn't a 10. Incomplete for the Eagles regardless.
Right.
Second down and 10. Little delay now as the Eagles get back up the line. They get three receivers bumped up together on that right side of the line, very close to the line of scrimmage, and one on the left. And we got flags flying from the sidelines here.
Find out who moved first on that one.
Possibly could have also been formation issues if they had 5 in the backfield.
So
nope, it is a false start.
Yeah.
That's the fourth penalty of the second half. 30 yards and 55 overall for the game for the Eagles on their 9th penalty. That'll back them up 5 and make it second down and 15. 3:52 left, third quarter. 23-20. Parkland leading your Hobbs Eagles here at Watson Stadium. Next week we'll be home again against Las Cruces to open up the district schedule Friday night. Twins left and right, shotgun for Beatty. Takes a little bit more time and comes out of the call, looks to the sideline for a changeup, maybe. We'll see if they audible this one or not.
It looks like they will. He looked at his little wristband.
Gets a good snap, 3-step drop, pump fakes, fires down the middle of the post route, caught at the 30, 25, 20, 15, Braddock Beatty, 10 far sideline, 5 and touchdown. Brother-to-brother connection, 55 yards for the touchdown for the Eagles. Braddock with the catch from his brother Brock.
Yeah, and he had the right angle too. Was able to get that one in stride. We love to see that, Braddock to Braddock, and Beatty to Beatty, and Braddock was able to get that in for a quick score, 55 yards as you mentioned. And all again, Hobbs back up on top, needs that extra point or two to make it a better game.
Of course, they scored, Eagles did in the second quarter of this contest with wide open receivers at the goal line off a 34-yarder earlier in the game to Ortiz, and so the deep secondary having some issues. The kick is coming from Beatty as well, up and good. So he's figuring into 7 points on that series right there. And the Eagles back up by 3, 26-23 over El Paso Parkland. Boy, we're going to have a long game here as we get past the 9 o'clock hour. 3:34 left here in the third. Stay with us live on the Hobbs Eagle Network. The seesaw affair continues here at Watson Stadium. Ty Friend with Ron Gunner and Tiffany Stuber back at the station. 26-23, your Eagles leading by the field goal now after a 55-yard pass from Brock to Braddock Beatty, the brother-to-brother connection. And now that's 76 yards in receptions, 5 catches for Braddock Beatty from his brother so far. And that touchdown scored there. Hobbs now with 3 passing touchdowns. And they scored 1 on the ground with Seamus Wright as well. Scores on the air game to Beatty, also Henry and Ortiz. The kick is going to be shallow, and it's going to go bobbled at the 10-yard line. Macias trying to hit up the middle now as he scooped 15, head to the far sideline, 20, 25, and 27. Eagles took a little bit of time to corral him after a bobble back near the 10-yard line, going from left to right in the field and now at the right hash. And that's where the Parkland Matadors will start from the 27-yard line. They trail the Eagles by 3 with 3:27 left, third quarter.
I said it was kind of comical for a second there because it bounced right over his head. He wasn't expecting that, turned around, was able to corral it and make some positive yardage out of that. Looked like it was going to be a loss, and instead made it a gain.
Looks like Reese will remain as the third quarterback in the game for Parkland. They'll send trips or twins right, 2 receivers left as well. Good snap, draw play. Heading right is Macias, tries to get around the right end, but not much going on there. Maybe forward progress for a yard, but not going to be much more than that. Eagles close down quickly. Big man from the line of scrimmage on that right side of the line for the Eagles defense, Mike Meredith, the D lineman.
Oh, got about a yard, actually.
Yep, just 1 on the play. Second down and 9. The quick throw on the screen to the right side, 25, 30 to toward the El Paso sideline. Make it 7 to 8 yards on that one.
And the Matadors are able to get it beyond the line into the secondary to make those quick throws and get a few extra yardage out of that.
Looks like the man that caught the ball also had a wrist or arm injury there. That was Antonio Enriquez.
Yeah, he is definitely going to.
They haven't moved the yard marker yet either. It looks like there might have been a penalty against El Paso Parkland.
Exactly.
Holding.
So double whammy on them, an injury possible and a setback with the penalty is going to be 2nd and long for them at this rate.
That's going to be a second out and 18 now for Parkland, really changing the complexion of their series here. They make a quick change on receivers now with twins right to make it 3 now to the left side on the trips look. By himself is Reese, the quarterback, takes it right up the middle, 20, dives down to the 25, and tries to get himself back to the original line of scrimmage, and not going to get all the 8 that he wanted on that one. Got 7 instead, though.
Yep.
1 yard shy of the original line of scrimmage. Brings up a 3rd down and 11. It's pretty much a quarterback keeper. Did score a 7-yard touchdown earlier.
It seems like he has one speed as, Hobbs Eagle had to get off the field before the play started.
4 on the front line now for the Hobbs Eagle defense. Trips left, 2 receivers right for El Paso. Shotgun, rolling right is Reese to the 20, 25, tucks it goes, 30. And then he hurdles over a Hobbs defender. That should be a penalty flag. Not allowed to do that with the NFHS rules.
And there is a flag on the play right where it happened, so you're right about that. Looks like it will be a penalty after all for that jump.
He got 7 on the carry, got up to about the 33.5-yard line in front of the El Paso bench, far right sideline. The question is now where they're going to mark this off from, because it should be from where he hurdled somebody, and couldn't quite see who the Eagle was that got underneath that. All 4 officials on that far sideline are having a discussion about it, where to mark it off from.
And the Eagles, they're on the other side of the field, so they have to run all the way across to be able to get off the field before the play starts. I don't think there was much urgency, but still, you always want to make sure that you're not the problem being on the field when you're not supposed to be.
And that is a safety issue. Yeah, it's a 15-yarder. They mark that off, hurdling. And that is an NFHS rule. Nash, I know Texas goes with a little bit of different rule situation, but, of course, hurdling is going to get somebody hurt. And so 15 yards, marked it off after a 7-yard pickup.
That'll put them deep for a 3rd down.
Back to pass, Reese, a 3-step drop, is chased in the backfield, rolls left to get away from pressure. He's going to the 15, gets a block from behind, 20, 25 to the near sideline left, and is still in bounds. A lot of lateral running that time, about maybe a 7-yard pickup for Reese. It looked like there was a block in the back for El Paso Parkland near this left sideline. No call there, but again, 7 yards for Reese on that play.
Castro was one that leveled him before he got any more yardage. Did get a few, almost got back to the original line of scrimmage, so it'll be 4th and 11, but still, that was a good tackle.
Trips right, 1 receiver left. Reese will get the snap, but he's going to punt it away from the 20 from behind the line. Short and caught at the 45 to the 50, near side, 45, 40, 35, 30, up to sideline 25 and run out at the 21-yard line. Eagles with a great return, and the man to do it for Hobbs was Adrian Mora. Boy, the speedy DB off to the races that time. That's going to be about a 40, making a 37-yard return to the 24 of El Paso Parkland. Boy, would the Eagles love to get a score here to add to their 4-point lead with 1:31 left in the 3rd. And boy, the time is dragging here in this 3rd quarter.
Exactly, but Hobbs wanted to get an answer, and here it could be an answer right now.
Again, they got it at the 25-yard line, make it the 24. Right hash, twins left, 1 receiver right, go with the tailback handoff to the left side of the line and tried to backpedal for some extra yards. He had a man on top of him that time. That was Julian Gomez going with the Eagle back.
Boy, both sides are playing as intense as they can. That was about a 3-yard gain on that play.
Seamus
for that
Wright.
Run.
Yep, Seamus Wright really moving those pistons up and down with his legs that time. 2nd down and 7. Ball's at the 20.5-yard line. Shotgun to Beatty. Oh, we got whistles and flags on the line.
So
a little bit of movement there that time, it appears. Parkland's pointing at the Eagles. That's a 5-yard penalty, as Hobbs has picked up a total of 5 penalties here in the second half for 35 yards and 60 overall. A total of 10 penalties in the game, now to double digits. 2nd down and 11 now for the Eagles. Middle of the field at the 25 of the Parkland Matadors. Clock down to 1:02 left, third quarter. Eagles by 4. Back in the backfield is Beatty. Has one man on his right shoulder to block. That's right. Throws the out route, but the receiver was trying to block downfield. Didn't get out to the far sideline to make the catch. Pass was intended for Gabriel Henry, so miscommunication out there. He was face mask to face mask with that DB on that far left side and going toe-to-toe with that cornerback, and that appeared to be Douglas, the defensive man out there.
Yeah, it looked like there was a rush going on. It was both those DBs came for the quarterback. Henry wasn't aware of that. Otherwise, he probably would have had a head on a swivel, and instead, it's an incomplete pass.
So third down and 11 for the Eagles at the 25. Middle of the field, shotgun Beatty, two-step drop, stays pocket, now flushed out to the right, turns and fires down the middle, post route, 1 yard into the end zone, touchdown! That will be the TD the Eagles wanted, the 26-yarder.
To Broderick Beatty. So Beatty to Beatty connection once again for that great touchdown.
He's had 2 touchdowns here in the third quarter, 55-26, also had a 10-yard catch. 6 catches so far for him for 102 yards, triple digits. And the Eagles add on to their 4-point lead, now make it 10, 33-23.
And now he's going to kick for an extra point.
Yeah, he's going to be an exhausted kid this weekend. The kick is up, and it is good. A booming kick through the upright. 51 seconds left in the third still, and your Hobbs Eagles up by 11 over El Paso Parkland, 34-23. Back in 60 seconds on HobbsAmerica.com and Cool 95.7. .51 seconds left here in the third quarter. Eagles have extended the lead to 11, 34-23 over El Paso Parkland. Hobbs trying to get to 500 with the win tonight. And El Paso Parkland trying to get their first win. They're now 0-2. Big-time pass play, Beatty to Beatty, 26-yarder. They had a 55-yarder earlier in the quarter. So Braddock and Brock getting the job done for the Eagles. End-over-end kick will bounce to the left sideline, high in the air. Scooped up and brought to the 18. That's about it. Eagles had great coverage. 3 black and gold jerseys on top of the return man, Macias. And looks like the first guy in there, the linebacker for the Eagles, and putting a blow on him pretty hard there, was the linebacker Gustavo Diaz-Castro.
One of those situations where the hang time possibly would have helped. Plus, it bounced around a little bit. By the time the runner got the ball, the defense was all over him, swarming.
We mentioned Macias is the starting running back, could average over 180 yards in their first 2 games against Ysleta and Riverside, both teams out of El Paso. They lost both of those games, even though he did average that much on the ground. Parkland football, 18-yard line, 1st and 10. Pair of receivers left, one right, split formation backfield. Ready for the snap is Reese. High snap on the shotgun. Crossing to the right to left, across the 20 on the handoff, 25-30, and brought down just past the 30-yard line. That will be a 13-yard pickup. That was Macias coming from right to left on the cross.
He actually was slowed down by his defender, and there is an injury on a Hobbs Eagle on the play right now.
That's his first double-digit run of the second half.
Could have been more, though. Like I said, ran into the back of his defender, tried to get around him, and by the time he did, defenders for Hobbs were all over him and slowed him down and stopped him.
Macias now to 98 yards on the ground, just shy of the 100-yard mark. That does move the chains for El Paso Parkland now with 9 first downs. And again, the injury on the field. We'll take a break. 39 seconds left, third quarter. Hobbs by 11 over El Paso Parkland. Come back with us in 60. Jaron Meredith, the injured Eagle, brought off the field. It's a 1st and 10 for El Paso Parkland. Macias trying to bounce outside on the handoff right to left and is knocked down at the 30. Kind of close to the line of scrimmage that time, and the Eagle linebacker in there quickly for Hobbs, reading it well, Sammy Baeza. And Macias now no gain on the play for that one, so held to 0. Quickly reset for Parkland, 2nd and 10 from their 31. They trail the Eagles by 11, shotgun. Reese fakes the handoff, turns and fires down the middle, and the post route might have been intercepted near the 40, picked off by the Eagles, and that's just exactly what the doctor ordered. It looks like the big pickoff for the linebacker for the Eagles, and that was Gustavo Diaz-Castro, which will be the first INT of the game. 2 fumbles in the first half for Parkland, but now making a 3rd turnover.
Yeah, and that was pulled out of nowhere. Looked like Castro was falling down, was able to go and get the ball, keep it, and yes, a nice little interception for Hobbs as the refs are making sure that it is spotted right.
Hobbs football in Parkland territory, middle of the field at the 39-yard line with 9 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. Eagles by 11, 34-23. Eagles, of course, were trailing a couple of times in the first half, but they still got a chance to put some more points on the board. Twins right, receiver left. And back in the backfield waiting for the shotgun snap is Beatty with 2 back to block for him. Pump fake. He wants to throw it down the far left sideline. Fade route over the shoulder. Caught to 10, 5, touchdown. 39-yarder in stride, and the Eagles back on the scoreboard.
And that looks like number 18.
Yep, that's going to be Chavarria. 39 yards. Wasn't Beatty that time. Braddock had the last 2 touchdown receptions. 39 for Chavarria on that one.
And all of a sudden, this quarter, which is just about to end, is one of the biggest they've had this season for the Hobbs Eagles. They have scored 4 unanswered touchdowns, and they are on a roll right now. This is exactly what I expected to see, but not in one quarter.
So Chavarria getting his first catch of the ball game, and it is a touchdown for 39. Beatty's going to do the kick. It's up. Oh, it gets a hand swat at it. I think they barely made it over the crossbar on the right side, as it was a big swat at the football that time. One of the linemen getting through for Parkland. A big kid, too. That was Michael Belay. But not sure if he did get a finger on it or not, but that trajectory of the ball looked like he might have got a piece of it. Still 2 seconds left in this 3rd quarter. Will this quarter ever end? But Hobbs loves it because they're up by 18 now, 41-23 over El Paso Parkland. We'll take a quick breather. More Hobbs Eagle football coming at you in 30 seconds.
Back to Watson Stadium Memorial as the Hobbs Eagles have exploded with points, 24 to be exact, in this 3rd quarter, and now they lead at 41-23. And with the call and the kickoff, here is Ty Friend.
14 pass receptions for the Eagles in this game, and they've had a ton of receiving touchdowns, 5 of them so far. The kick is off, and it's going into the end zone for the automatic touchback, back to the 24, El Paso Parkland. And Ron, I know you've watched a couple weeks of NFL football. Do you like the new kickoff situation where they have guys just standing still and they have the little kick zone and all that craziness going on instead of having the full speed go at it?
I'm sure there's some times when it's a real good idea, but one of the things that you have when a kickoff is you never know what's going to happen. If you can get that runner to go and run it all the way down the field, that is exciting. I know it avoids some injuries, but still, it kind of lacks on some things. A lot of fans are not for it, but we'll still have to see how it plays out. It's still fresh and new, so you never know what's going to happen with it, though.
Well, the main reason they were pushing it was they didn't want as many touchbacks, but it seems like there's been still quite a few of them anyway. They want more of an arena football type deal, but
they want more excitement, less injury.
Yep, they're just going to keep trying and see what works. 1st and 10 for Parkland at their own 20-yard line. Quick snap to Reese. He heads up the middle. That's where he likes to run most of the time. The 3rd-string quarterback, if you want to call him a 3rd string, more of a receiver out there, having to fill in for some injured guys earlier. At least we think they've been injured. 4-yard pickup for Reese, and that will finally make it 3. That will end the third quarter finally. We're going to go to the fourth. Your Eagles leading by 18, 41-23. Come back to us with fourth quarter action, HobbsAmerica.com and Cool 95.7. We're ready for fourth quarter action. As you remember, the Eagles with a big turnaround here in the second half in terms of offensive scoring. The Eagles have had 3 touchdowns in a row, 3 unanswered. It was Parkland scoring first, a 7-yard run to score for Reese. Then a couple of Beatty to Beatty connects, 55 yards and 26 yards for scores. And then Chavarria, 39-yarder from Beatty. And there we have it, an 18-point lead. 12 minutes left in this game, fourth quarter. Ty Friend, Ron Gunner with you here at Watson Stadium. Final pre-district game of the season. Tiffany Stuber back at the station. We'll get you some Lee County updates here in a minute. Last we heard, Jal was blowing out Van Horn, Texas. It was 40-0 at one point. We'll try to get an update on that one. Second down and 7. Quick snap around the left end. Here comes Reese heading outside of the 25 towards the El Paso side of the field. And met near the line of scrimmage. Might have got about a yard if he's lucky. As the Eagles are able to stretch him out just a bit. The linebacker for Hobbs putting him down was Tristan Davis. 1-yard pickup for Reese. Shotgun split formation backfield. 2-step drop for Reese. Dancing around in the pocket. Sliding out now with pressure. Tries to throw the out route. It's juggled near the sideline. Not quite sure they're going to call this a catch or not. Close to the first down marker, too.
They did, actually. It looks like it's going to be not only a catch, but a first down as well for the Matadors.
So that's going to be an 8-yarder to Arturo Silva. That's his second 8-yard catch. 2 for 16 now for him. Hurry up offense now at the 10th first down. The handoff angling left to right. Going down the middle now. And it looks like Macias is the man with the football. 3-yard pickup for Macias. Of course, he's the go-to guy in terms of the offense of this team. Second down and 7 now from the 33. Twins right, receiver left, shotgun high to Reese, handoff again, this time to the left side. That's Macias, comes across the 35 and stumbles ahead for a few more. He's got 3 on that one. So some short yardage pickups for Macias.
Yeah, quick and short. That's exactly what they want to do. Just get some positive yards. They're doing so, and they're making those third down short.
He's got 107 yards on the ground, triple digits in this one. Second down, make it third down and 3 now from the 37-yard line. High snap to Reese, gives it back to Macias. Tries to come up the left hash, and he's going to be close to the first down. Needed to get about 3.5, and he does get it. So about 3 yards for Macias to move the chains. That is going to be the 11th first down for the visiting team. Hurry up offense from the 41. Split formation backfield, Twins right, receiver left. Give it off to Macias to the left side this time. 40, 45 into Hobbs, close to Hobbs territory at the 46. And that will be, looks like 5 for him on that one. Make it 6, make it 7. Second down and 3. Hurry up offense once again from the 47-yard line. Shotgun to Reese. Up the middle, Macias bounces out to the right, 50, Hobbs territory, 45, near sideline, 35, 30, 1 to beat, 25, 20, 15, and run out of bounds at the 10-yard line.
And yeah, tripped him up. He almost jumped over him or tried to jump over him, the defender, and that looked like it was Omaron Kennedy on the field. I may be wrong,
no,
but it looked like
43-yarder for Martinez on that one to move the chains. The 12th first down, now in the red zone at the 8-9-yard line. Handoff come up the middle for Macias, tries to come outside right, and is pulled down at the 5-yard line, so he's going to get 4 on that one.
But Parkland in a huge hole. They're trying to get out of it. This is the way to do it so far, trying to answer back after all those touchdowns from Hobbs in the third quarter, and they're knocking on the door right now.
Second down and goal. The ball's at about the 5-yard line. Split formation backfield, Twins left, receiver right. High snap again to Reese. Angling left is Macias, gets the ball and just kind of goes into the end zone untouched. Got bounced at about the goal line, but he stayed up on his feet. And the touchdown good for Macias, a 5-yarder for the score. That's his first rushing touchdown of the ball game. Even though he had 200 yards in one game to start the season, did not score off the running game. And looks like an injury for the Eagles near the 2-yard line. The touchdown good, though. 41-29 is the score. 9:49 left here in the fourth. We'll take a quick 30-second break, see who the injured Eagle is. Stay with us on the Hobbs Eagle Network. Welcome back to Watson Stadium after a Hobbs Eagle injury timeout. Ivan Vargas, defensive lineman for Hobbs, looked like an ankle injury possibly. Waiting for the PAT now for El Paso Parkland after scoring a 5-yard touchdown for Macias. The kick is up and Duenas nails it. We're going to keep it right here. 41-30 your score. Hobbs by 11 with 9:49 remaining. You can't be too conservative here, though, Ron, because you don't want to have to end up punting the ball away. We saw a lot of punting going on in that first half and turnover on downs and just kind of lethargic offense. And defense is sticking up pretty tough and keeping the offenses at bay at that point. But now that we started to see the Eagles light it up, especially in that third quarter with all the scoring they did, 3 consecutive scores with nothing answered by El Paso Parkland, with definitely the passing game working with Beatty to Beatty and then, of course, Chavarria too. I think you still want to come out up-tempo, act like you want to put this in the books with some more point production. Just don't be happy with, pin them back with some punts and let them run clock. I think you want to set the precedent to finish this game strong, get to 500.
Exactly. Don't change your game plan. But on the other hand, here's the thing. The Matadors scored quickly. That took about 3 minutes roughly for them to get across the field and into the end zone. So Hobbs has to be aware about that.
Eagles getting ready for the kickoff return.
Of course, there's also this, too. There could be some trickery offsides, and all of a sudden, the Matadors have the ball again.
Eagles get ready for the kick return. As Duenas looks like they're going to possibly they load up the right side. Maybe going to go with an onside kick here. 9:49 remaining. Probably be a good time to do that. Try to get this down to a single-digit ball game. Now they're going to put some air on it. It's end over end, caught at the 21-yard line. The man with the football, little kick foot up, is Gabriel Henry. Heads to the far side, 20, 25, 30, 35. Flags deep back behind the play. Maybe a legal block out to the 42. I think this might be coming back just a little bit, though.
Probably will. I mean, it looked like he had a good run, but, again, that's probably the reason why he had a hole up there is because somebody did something illegal.
Maybe blocking the back possibly. The flag back at the 33, got to the 42. And looks like they're talking to the coach as well over on the far side for El Paso. That's Coach Lee McWhorter. It's a little bit of a delay here. They've got to get this all sorted out.
Yeah, they're going to talk to pick up his flag.
Kind of weird. The coach is out with his team out in the field about 15 yards out. McWhorter is. I'm not sure what the heck. Referees aren't over there talking to him either. I don't know what the deal is at this point.
Well, the Whitecap was about to give the call, and then the other ref came in.
Oh, blindside block. Can't be hitting guys when they're not paying attention, especially from the backside and taking them out like that or the side. You got to have your hands extended out on the guy that you're trying to block. And so they're going to get Hobbs backed up 15 on this one. Now
Yep.
you got to give the guy a chance to react to what you're doing. That's why this blindside block call has been in the books for a couple of years now. So 15-yard penalty for the Hobbs Eagles, going to bring that one back a little bit on the return.
As everything is to prevent injury from happening.
1st and 10 for the Eagles at the 26, 27-yard line now. One receiver right, two to the left side. Beatty going to get the shotgun and then look like he's going to hand it off to Seamus Wright, but the whistle stops it halfway on that shotgun. So we got some jumping going on that line. Looks like against the Eagles.
Yeah.
So back-to-back penalties now, not helping themselves.
No, they aren't. Another false start, something that Hobbs has been doing throughout this game. They cleaned it up a little bit in the third quarter. We're able to move the ball, but still moving back is not what they want to do. They want to move forward.
12 penalties now for 70 yards total. Hobbs racking up quite a bit here in the second half as well. 55 in penalty yardage.
And the ref is making sure that the ball was spotted right. It actually was about a yard further out than it should have been, so brought it back.
Yeah, the umpire running up to the line of scrimmage here. 1st and 15 now from the 22 of the Eagles. Right hash, shotgun to Beatty, gives it the tailback around the left side, spreading it out to the 20. Tries to cut back on the left hash, spins, and gets knocked backwards. Trying to backpedal. Head back out to the 25-yard line. So going to get back some of that penalty yardage to the outside that time. And lot speed there for Seamus Wright, the sophomore. He gets back about 3 of the penalty yards there and makes it a 2nd down and 12 now from the 25.
Ran about 10 yards to get those 3 yards.
So Wright now has 6 carries for 11 yards. Eagles quickly back up to the line of scrimmage, and they want to run the clock, but at the same time, they want to keep the defense on their heels. That's why they're hurrying up to the line. 2nd down and 12 now from the 25. Shotgun to Beatty. Handoff delay there, but boy, they read that quickly, did Matadors, and they throw down Wright that time. He's going to lose a bunch. At least 5, maybe 7, depending on where they're saying his knee went down as he got somersaulted around. Good read coming hard in the backfield that time for El Paso was Isaiah Salazar, the defensive end.
Actually, the sophomore also had a big thing to do with that as well. Antonio Enriquez, the DE, defensive end, he just swarmed all over him.
-6 for Wright, ball back at the 21-yard line. Actually, -5, I should say there. Don't want to short him too much. 3rd down and 15 now. Beatty back in shotgun, trips right, receiver left, steps up in the pocket, gets swarmed on, he's going down. Loses 4. Big bear hug on him that time for El Paso Parkland. That was Carter Perez. So losing another 4 that time for Beatty, and this is exactly what I'm talking about, Ron.
Yep.
You're moving backwards, the real estate is going to the wrong side of the field, and now Hobbs going to be in a punt situation with 7:48 remaining. Leading by 11, though, so you do have a nice double-digit cushion at this point, but still, you want to end on a high note here and try to get some more points on the board to get this thing in the books quicker.
Yeah, Parkland played it perfectly, knew it was going to be a passing play, so they blitzed and got the quarterback.
Beatty back in, ready for that punt snap. Good punt snap. We got some whistling going on the line of scrimmage again. Flags are flying, and Hobbs has had several of these penalties. They're going to look like they're pointing towards El Paso Parkland on this one. Up in the defensive zone there and stepping into the neutral zone. So it looks like that should be a 5er against the Matadors.
As they get the ball back and situate everything. Actually, they're pointing towards Matadors.
Yeah, that's what they were in the neutral zone there.
Gotcha.
5-yard penalty.
Well, maybe that'll help as far as getting a better or getting them deeper in their own territory. But, yeah, Hobbs definitely needed to get away from another false start.
85 yards in penalties now for the Matadors. 4th down and 12. Still a punt situation here. Bring him out in motion right to left. Do the Eagles. Good snap again. The kick's going to be almost blocked from the 13. Just barely getting away from that. Fair catch is called for at the 42. A diving catch at that as Reese comes up with it. He's also the 3rd-string quarterback. I don't know if they usually have him slated at that position, but, of course, wide receivers usually know pretty much all the play calls and don't have to worry about it. So he's been in there since this second half has been going. And that does like the up-the-middle type run situation. Like to check out what's going on down the field and just gets the gap and goes. 7:22 left here in the 4th, 41-30. Hobbs leading by 11, but the Matadors have the football at their own 42-yard line. They trail by 11.
Yeah, they just got successfully into the end zone just moments ago.
Eagles punting for their 6th time in this game. Shotgun high, Reese able to come down with it, trying to head out left, and he's met in the backfield. Big pile up here. And that snap was what caused him to have too much of a hesitation, trying to come down with the football, and had some linebacker companionship there from Sammy Baeza, the man to wrap him up. No gain in the play. I guess they're going to say forward progress. Second down. Looked like he was behind the line of scrimmage, definitely, but no gain for Reese.
Yeah, I tried to find a hole, but there was no hole to be found because of the defense.
Handoff coming around the right side. Macias to the 40, 45, breaks it up the middle, 50, 45, 40. The Eagles still high stepping and down to the 34-yard line. That's going to be 21, actually 22 now for Martinez, not Macias that time. And Martinez has come in here in the fourth quarter, had some two big runs, a 43-yarder and now a 22. That'll also move the chains. 13 first downs for the Matadors. First and 10 at the Eagle 34 right hash. Handoff up the middle. Macias this time going to high step it to the 31-yard line. Make it to the 30 instead. He gets 4 on that one.
For some reason, the band is playing right now. But, yeah, this Matadors team is moving the ball once again down the field.
Second down and 6 from the Eagle 30.5-yard line on the right hash. Clock to 6:18 remaining. Eagles by 11, 41-30. Shotgun snap to Reese. Handoff delay there to Macias up the gut, and he meets the black and gold wall. That's Martinez, actually. Martinez, he got 1 yard on the forward progress as he stopped by the Eagles' defensive end, Amron Wheeler.
But nevertheless, Parkland is taking very little time off and making sure that they can move the ball down the field.
Third down and 4 from the 28. Shotgun, split formation, roll out left. There goes Reese to the 30, stretching out far sideline, 25-20 out of bounds in front of the El Paso Parkland bench.
But got more than enough for a first down.
Let's see, we're going to mark this out at.
It's like the 21.
8-yard pickup for Reese. So that will be the 14th first down of the ball game.
Just inside the red zone.
Ball on the left hash, the 20.5-yard line. Twins left and right, making trips right. Reese will take the shotgun snap, head up the middle, and puts his head down, moving the pile the best he can. Looks like another 4 or 5 there for Reese. Clock is not the ally of El Paso Parkland. They're down by 11 with 5:25 remaining. Second down and 6 now for the Matadors at the Eagle 16-yard line. Twins left, receiver right, shotgun on the split formation. The handoff on the crossing move up the middle from left to right. It looks like Macias is going to try to push his way through the gap that was there for just a split second.
It looks like all that pushing, I thought he had gotten a yard or two, but instead got back to the line of scrimmage, and it'll be the third down and short.
That was Martinez as he was wrapped up for the Hobbs Eagle defense by Amron Wheeler. Third down and 4. Handoff up the gut. And that's going to be close, but I don't think they got what they needed on that one. Actually, no, Reese kept it himself as he went up. No, it was Macias. Finally got it handed to him. They both was going up toward the line of scrimmage, so 2 for Macias. Fourth down and 2. And here comes Reese up the middle, the quarterback keeper up the gut. He's trying to get himself to the 11-yard line for the first down. He will get that, plus a little bit more. 2.5 there for the quarterback, Reese.
Got to the 10, and it looks like it'll be first and goal, probably from the 10-yard line. Yes, indeed.
El Paso Parkland starting to rack up the first downs. They've got 15 now at the 11-yard line. Give it around the left end of Macias. Cut back on the left hash, puts his head down, and falls forward across the 5.
He's going to be to the 4, maybe even the 3-yard line at this rate, and they're making quick work of this drive.
6-yard pickup for Macias. Knocking at the door in the red zone with 4:13 remaining, running a lot of time though. 41-30, high snap to Reese. He continues up the middle with it, tries to get across the goal line, and has just scored the touchdown. That will be a 4-yarder, or did they signal it or not?
I think the one judge on the other end did say touchdown, so yes.
Yep, they're bringing the kicking team in there. 4 yards for the score as Reese gets it in for El Paso Parkland Matadors. 4:04 remaining in the game, 41-36, and we got a 1-score contest here, pinning this PAT for the Matadors. Julian Duenas out there once again. Crowd's getting kind of quiet here at Watson Stadium. Almost a block. Kick is up and good inside the right upright. And boy, a diving attempt trying to slap that one down, Superman style that time. Good attempt there to get the block for Adrian Mora, the DB for the Eagles. 4:04 left here in the fourth. It's 41-37. Hobbs by 4. This game ain't over yet. Come back with us in 30 seconds on the Hobbs Eagle Network. Well, your Hobbs Eagles scored 3 touchdowns in a row. No match by El Paso Parkland in the third quarter, but now Parkland has taken over the fourth. They've scored twice in a row, no match for the Eagles, and now they only lead, Hobbs does, by 4, 41-37 with 4:04 left in the fourth. Do you think this is an onside kick right now, Ron?
I think it could be, because we thought it was going to be last time. They did not. This time it would definitely, it looks like they're lining up for that onside kick.
Yeah, Hobbs, the front line, is trying to get some of their return people to move up a little bit to help out the Good Hands team here. Duenas getting ready to kick from the 40 with 4:04 remaining. Hobbs by 4, 41-37. Onside kick to the left. Nice scoop at the 48 of the Eagles, and a good front man there. Got down low and made sure that wasn't going to get any further than it did. I'm trying to see who that number is down there. I believe that's
38.
Nope, that's one of our linebackers getting down low for the Eagles, and that was Sammy Baeza, the linebacker, senior. Good hands there. It gives the Eagles the ball close to the 50 at the 49. Still on their side. They have 4:04, and they definitely need to get some scoring on here to get this game a little bit more comfortable. They get a late lineman, or actually not a lineman, but somebody late coming on the field. That's Isaiah Rodriguez seeing his first action. He went down hard against Roswell last week. Very surprised to see him. Slot left is Rodriguez. Handoff up the middle, and a plow job going across the 50, a 1-yard pickup. As the man was Seamus Wright with the ball, and he was hit pretty hard there, coming straight forward that time by Julian Gomez, the linebacker. So a 1-yard pickup for Seamus Wright, and it looks like we've got a timeout on the field. Close ball game, 3:53 remaining, 41-37. Your Hobbs Eagles leading by 4 over El Paso Parkland. We'll come back in 30 seconds with more fourth quarter action. Back after a timeout here at Watson Stadium, your Hobbs Eagles holding on to a 4-point lead, 41-37. Eagles football near midfield, right at the 50 mark actually, as they come back to the line of scrimmage. 2nd down and 9. Very important series for the Eagles. 4 on the front line for El Paso Parkland. They're going to do a pitch around the left side to the 50 into El Paso Parkland territory and getting ahead for about 3 yards. Up into 3 defenders slamming down on top of the ball carrier for the Eagles. That was Seamus Wright again. They're going to give Wright about, looks like 2 yards on that when he got upended hard. Wright is carried for a total of 9 times tonight and for 6 yards total. And the clock will be stopped on the timeout. 3rd and 7 for the Eagles at the El Paso Parkland 47-yard line. What is Coach Stevens telling to his offense right now? If you give the ball back to El Paso Parkland here pretty quickly, that's going to give him over 3 minutes of time to try to get a lead here. Yeah,
He's just saying that we need to make sure that we don't make any mistakes, no penalties, and definitely no turnovers. Just keep getting the ball and moving it forward as best you can. Try not to be too heroic, because you've seen that before. They try to do that extra yard or two, and the next thing you know, the ball squirts out, and they lose it.
They haven't seen much passing over the last few minutes for the Hobbs Eagle offense, too. I almost want to think that you get your quarterback out of the pocket a little bit and maybe go outside, get some flood routes to the sidelines and make sure you got an open receiver. You know, don't float stuff out there, but get out to the sidelines and make a nice crisp pass. They need to get 7. Got to get to the 41. 3rd down and 7 for the Eagles on the left hash at the 47 of Parkland. 3:42 remaining. Shotgun. Beatty fakes a handoff right, rolls left himself, heads to the near sideline. He gets upended. He's going to get shy. The 45 might have even fumbled. I think the official said he was down. Let's make sure we're going to see where the mark is. That's going to be well short of the first down, though. They got to get to the 41, and I don't think that got much further than the 45.
Ortiz.
One, two, maybe 3 on the play. They're even short of that, make it 2.5, but go ahead and give 3 to Beatty. Good misdirection. He started act like he was going to flip it to the right on the pitch and kind of did a 180 and went back to the left side. But now the Hobbs Eagles faced with a 4th down. They got it at the 46-yard line. Got to get to the 41. They need 5, Ron. 3:31 left here in the 4th. And this is a tough situation for the Eagles. Again, if you don't get the first down, you're giving plenty of time for this El Paso squad to try to get a lead here late in the 4th.
Yeah, and what I think they need to do is this. They need to have a rollout or a quarterback option that worked for them in the past. They haven't really used it too much, and I'm surprised they haven't. This would be the opportune time to be able to get at least 5 yards, the first down, and then, of course, they can go on from there.
Bunch of other Lee County games going on tonight. A big one in Lovington. Trying to get an update on that one. Roswell taking on the Wildcats on the blue turf. Of course, Lovington #1 ranked in the 5A. Jal's playing Van Horn in Jal.
And I will tell you that Jal got their first victory with a Mercy Rule win tonight. We'll tell you about the score later on.
That's against Van Horn, Texas. Of course, Eunice Cardinals in action too. Tatum losing last night on the road to Fort Sumner and House. 4th down, big one for the Eagles. 4th and about 3.5 from the 46 of this Parkland Matador team. And Hobbs looks like they're back in punt situation here.
Yes, indeed.
They're going to have to get a real high one to get some time for the coverage team to push it back as far as possible.
All right, so they're trying to get him offsides. It's not going to work.
Seamus Wright is kind of moving his legs up and down. He came in motion, then stopped near the 50-yard line. They're getting it down to 1 second on the clock.
Yeah.
And I guess they're maybe just going to take a delay a game. No, the timeout. That's maybe the delay a game to get him 5 yards back, and then you have some more room to punt higher up in the air and get the Eagles get some coverage down there. But they're going to call the timeout instead. Coach Stevens talked to the team. Seamus Wright went in motion from right to left and then faced his sideline here on the left and just kept his legs turning up and down.
Right.
I'm not sure what that was all about. He just pretty much need to stop unless he's trying to keep his legs warm there. But it was just kind of a weird stature there looking toward the sideline. He knew what the call was. It's just that I'm not sure what he was pumping the legs for at that point.
I think he was trying to throw them off rhythm. I don't know exactly why he thought that the defense
was standing
would go
in place,
for it.
though,
Yeah, no,
facing the sideline.
Exactly. He was doing that motion like he was semi-dancing but more jogging in place, as you said. And it looked like I said, they were trying to draw him off sides, but the Matadors did not budge. They were made of stone, and they went ahead and was waiting for the ball to be hiked.
So Beatty will be back at the 40. Looks like he's going to punt it. I said looks like he's going to punt it. We'll have to wait and see. Maybe a trick up the sleeve there of Coach Stevens. Man in motion from right to left. Good snap. The punt will be from the 43-yard line, a high one. He'll take a bounce at the 20, take a Hobbs Eagle roll back to the 15, and will be stomped down on. And that's where Parkland will have it from the 15-yard line. So that, I believe, Seamus Wright, the man that got the stop on the ball as it was starting to roll a little bit. And Hobbs will have to play some tough D at the 16-yard line. Did pin him back just a bit. Kind of wish that ball would have gone back a little bit further, but you can't control the bounce and roll. That's out of their realm there. But it's going to be some defense having to get this game in the books here. We're 3:21 left here in the 4th. Hobbs up 41-37, up by 4. They had an 18-point lead here in this 4th quarter for a while, Ron.
Yeah, they had a nice little cushion, but unfortunately somebody took that cushion away, and the Matadors have been brought back to life, and they want to see if they can do one more time, another drive down the field to be able to get back into this game and win it. And, of course, Hobbs needs to stop that.
2 unanswered touchdowns for Parkland here in the 4th. High snap to Reese, a handoff to Macias up the middle. He meets that black and gold wall, does get ahead for a couple of yards, but a bunch of guys going to meet him there. And coming up underneath the pile for the Eagles, the linebacker, Gustavo Diaz-Castro. 2nd down and 8. Macias did get 2 on that carry. Ball marked at the 18-yard line. Twins right and left, trips left, twins right. They hand out to Macias around the left side. He gets wrapped up on his ankles that time. The lineman for the Eagles getting through, D-line. And coming up with that big wrap-up in the backfield was Jeremiah Mackey. But they're going to say he fell forward for about a yard. So Macias not really getting much on that one. 3rd down and 6 now from the 20. Split formation backfield to go at the cross in the back from left to right and to the right hash. Not much going on there. Maybe 2 on the stumble forward. Flat on his back, though, as the running back, and he might have got hit hard with some helmets.
That is surprising that they're keeping it on the ground. You would expect to see a little bit more motivation to get it down the field quicker. But right now it's 4th down, and it looks like it's going to be a punting situation once again for the Matadors.
That was Martinez, just a 2-yard gain, but he had a bunch of guys getting low on him that time, so he is flat on his back out near the 22-yard line.
He is.
Clock down to 2:19 remaining, and this definitely working in the Hobbs Eagles' favor. If they do punt, they better make sure we get some good coverage on that football and make sure that no fumbles come on that return. Definitely want to take control of that pigskin.
Exactly.
And good chance to run out the clock. Parkland, by the way, out of timeouts, Ron, which is a big factor. Hobbs has 2.
Exactly. And, yeah, that's one of those situations where Hobbs has the advantage on it. They have the 4-point lead. Would have liked more, but still, all they have to do is, at this point, is just kill the clock and walk away with a victory.
Eagles in this second half have not completed a pass at all. A lot of clock running in this second half. Of course, they have had some rushing from Seamus Wright especially. He's had 7 yards, though, total in this ball game, so not a lot to go with. Amarian Kennedy had 35 at the half, but has not had a rush in the second half. And Beatty, the quarterback, has rushed 3 times in the second half for -6 and has just 2 yards overall on 8 carries in the ball game. So not a lot of offense going on for the Hobbs Eagles here in the second half, although that third quarter was really good, Ron. Actually, I should say, let me go back again. We did have some passing, I should say. What am I talking about?
Right.
Beatty to Beatty, 2 touchdown passes, 55 and 26 yards. Look at my wrong numbers here. But Beatty, Braddock Beatty catching 2 of those touchdown grabs from his brother definitely helped out the cause in the third quarter. Fourth quarter has been very quiet.
Caleb Martinez able to walk off. He's the senior for the Matadors.
4th down and 2 for El Paso, and they are down to their last hurrah. High snap. Reese is going to take it himself. Heads left, getting close to the line of scrimmage. It gets across for a couple more. He needed to get to the 27-yard line. Did he make it?
Yes, I think
yes,
he did.
Yes, he did. He got 3 yards and pushes the chains. So the quarterback gets ahead. Reese, it's third-string quarterback, I should say.
But just over 2 minutes to go in this game.
That's the 16th first down. 1st and 10 from the 27. Give to Macias, angling right to the 35, and thrown out from behind, and he gets close to that first down again.
And he gets out of bounds as well.
That might be 11 actually on the play. That was Carter Perez, new guy checking in there. So Perez getting 11 yards.
So 2:01 on the clock, stopped.
First down again, 17 at the 39-yard line. 1st and 10. Shotgun. Reese going to hand off to the crossing man from left to right, met near the line of scrimmage and actually dropped for a yard loss.
Yeah, a lot of defenders there just did not have anything to go. If he would have cut back, possibly could have gotten some extra yardage, but just kept running forward and ran into a wall.
Tristan Davis, Sammy Baez, and the linebackers up there to meet that new guy running the football. And that -1. 2nd down and 11. Back to pass. They're going to throw a seam route down the middle. Ball gets ricocheted at the 40 of the Eagles. Pass intended for Jacoby Bernard. Just a little float route down the middle. Eagles had a couple of guys back there to knock it down. And almost close to a PI, but everybody was going for it, so you really can't call that. Good defense for the Eagles. Jacob Diaz and Javen Hernandez.
It looked like Jacob Diaz had a chance to get the INT. Just couldn't get there, though.
3rd down and 11 now from the 38-yard line. Trips left, 2 receivers right, shotgun. The ball's knocked away from behind and picked up by Reese, trying to pick it up and go. I don't know what happened. Maybe the ball got caught on the center's leg because it was a wobbler for some reason.
Yep.
And Reese was able to get ahead, though, for a couple of yards to keep the drive alive. But
4th down.
yeah, 4th down and 8 at the 41-yard line. They're still in their territory. Clock to 1:08 remaining and ticking. Eagles by 4. Hobbs fans getting loud now. Big 4th down stand here to maybe put this game in the W column. And a timeout for the Hobbs Eagle defense. So we're going to talk about it here. They don't want to have any big play go up the field because a big play could be a score, and that could be the ball game. 1:01 remaining, 41-37. Eagles by 4. We're coming back in 30 seconds on Cool 95.7 at HobbsAmerica.com. We're down to 1:01 left here in the fourth quarter. Eagles holding on to a 4-point lead over El Paso Parkland, 41-37. Fourth down and 8 for the Matadors. They called the time, or Hobbs called the timeout defensively, and they are at their 41-yard line. Eagles with the stop here would get the game in the W column. Back by himself, Reese, three-step drop out of the shotgun, steps up pocket. He's going to dump it in the left flat. Ball caught at the 45, and a hurdle jump. That should be a penalty. He hurdled over a Hobbs Eagle defender after making a catch. We're going to wait to see if there's a flag on this, and they already got flagged on that earlier, and are they going to call it or not?
No, I don't think they are. Looks like it's going to be a first down and a quick reset.
8-yard pickup for Antonio Reese. First and 10, that's the 18th first down at the 50-yard line. Clock down to 43 seconds. Trips right, receivers 2 to the left. Reese gets the shotgun, runs straight ahead, and gets 11 yards for another first down.
A field goal won't do him any good.
So Reese is going to move the chains again. 19 first downs at the Eagle 40-yard line. Left hash, 36 seconds remaining. Twins right and left. Back to Reese in the shotgun. High snap. Hand off to Macias. No, that's not Macias. That's that sub that came in. He's wrapped up in the backfield. Dropped down is Carter Perez.
And that was a quick stop for Hobbs.
-2 on the play, and we got a quick throw down of the football, the spike by the quarterback Reese to stop the clock. Incomplete, and that'll be a second down and 12. Clock stops with 17 seconds remaining.
Yeah, Macias was the runner on that last play for the Matadors.
So that was -2, though. I'm sure he doesn't want those numbers.
No, he does not.
He's over the 100-yard mark in this game. He's had plenty of games, 200 to start off the season. Ysleta, that's how many he got in a losing cause. Over 100 last week as well, averaging over 180 in terms of rushing yardage. Third down and 12 for the Eagles. They have it defensively right now, facing Parkland, who has it at their 42-yard line.
And you got to think that they're going for the two. They got first two attempts left to get this play done.
Third down and 12 for the 42 shotgun. Reese is going to roll right. He wants to throw. Chucks it down the near sideline right and overthrows his receiver. Incomplete. He tried to get it out to DJ Nunez. And riding with him shoulder to shoulder up this right sideline was the defender Adrian Mora. Incomplete.
And more importantly, it's fourth down now. It did stop the clock, though, with 12 seconds. This could be the final play. If the Matadors don't get a first down and out of bounds, this could be the final play of the game.
Ball's at the 42 of the Eagles, middle of the field with 12 seconds left, 41-37. Hobbs by 4. Twins left and right for El Paso. Parkland. Shotgun, high snap to Reese. Three-step drop, back at the 50. Rolls left, sliding over to the sideline. Chucks it down the out route. It's intercepted at the 25. Up the middle, 30, 35, 40, 45. Into Matador territory at the 40 and brought down actually at the 42. The interception for the Eagles to get the win.
And that is a perfect way to end this game with a nice interception. There may be an injury on the field for the Matadors, but this is the game.
Interception for the Eagles by Aiden Glum. Aiden Glum gets the pickoff. And boy, this game it's over. Yep, the clock has run out, and that will be it. Glum ran around so much, the clock ran out, and ends the game on an INT. Big one for the Hobbs Eagles, the linebacker. In fact, that was the second interception of the game against they had 3 quarterbacks in this contest for El Paso Parkland. Final score, 41-37. Your Eagles now 2-2 on the season, and Parkland drops to 0-3. Some very tired kids on the field tonight for both teams.
Exactly, exhausted, but one side very happy. The other side at least tried and did their best they could. Once again, fell short though, and 0-3 is what their efforts do result.
We'll take a 3-minute break, come back with the Hobbs Eagle postgame show live on Cool 95.7 and HobbsAmerica.com. Hobbs Eagles getting the victory tonight here at Watson Stadium, beating the squad from the Lone Star State, El Paso Parkland. And the big victory puts them at 2-2 on the season, 41-37 the final, a 4-point win. And Ron, there's a couple of lead changes in this game, but the big difference was the 3 touchdowns in that third quarter, although Parkland tried to come back with 2 of their own to get this down to the wire, and it was a close nip-and-tuck game throughout.
Yeah, and Parkland tried to do the passing. They're not known for it. They had a few successes early on, but nothing near what they had as far as the running. We're able to get on the horses, running down, be able to get those first downs over and over and over again, help their cause. And at the third quarter, though, it looked like they were kind of losing their momentum a little bit. In fact, they did. Hobbs was able to come back, as you mentioned, 3 unanswered touchdowns, and that helped out. Looked like it was going to be a walk-off basically a walk-off run for a win for Hobbs, but instead, Parkland seems to come back. They go ahead and go back to the running game. It worked for them, and one drive they were able to score, so they did it again, did it twice. Tried it a third time, didn't quite work out. Hobbs was able to stop them, and that interception sealed the deal. It was close to running out of time anyway, but that one definitely sealed the deal, and we're able to run out the clock, and Hobbs gets the victory on that defensive interception.
Yeah, Glum definitely came out big. Hobbs getting a couple of INTs in this contest. They had one earlier as well. So very good. Gustavo Castro was the one that came up with that earlier INT. So definitely some good stuff going on for the Eagles to get the victory. I mean, the offensive production wasn't there in the fourth quarter. I mean, but so much hurry-up offenses in this game that I think some guys got tired towards the end, just who can hang on with a little bit of energy left to get it over the hump and for the W.
Yeah, exactly. They just hung on by the fingernails. And Hobbs was trying different things. Just Parkland was able to get up, and their defense pulled in at the right time. And we talked about that earlier, about the fact that both sides looked like their defenses were strong and very hard to get past. And at some points, it was just punt, 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 punt. If you like those kind of games, if you like defensive games for a while, it was a defensive struggle, and it would have been one of those that you like. But in the end, Hobbs was able to come back in the third quarter, make those adjustments. We talked about that as well. And Parkland tried to do the same thing, ended up going back to the run, though, and it worked just enough, but just fell short by 4 points. And like both sides didn't quit, and that's the thing that matters in the end. That both sides did try. They were working hard, and we salute them.
Touchdowns for the Eagles. Beatty hit Henry for a 35-yard touchdown pass in the first quarter. Second quarter, a 3-yard run for Seamus Wright for a touchdown. 34-yard pass to Ortiz from Beatty for the other touchdown, 2 in the second quarter. Beatty hit his brother Beatty, of course, Brock to Braddock, 55-yard pass for a touchdown, followed by a 26-yard pass, once again Beatty to Beatty for back-to-back brotherly scoring there. And then Chavarria caught a 34-yard pass in that third quarter. So Hobbs scoring 3 times in that third quarter and getting them into that W. The scoring coming in from the El Paso Parkland squad. They had a safety in the first quarter. Reese was a receiver in the second quarter. He got a 16-yard pass for a touchdown. Gomez, a 91-yard interception, pick 6 for a 16-14 lead for Parkland in the second quarter. They also had the halftime lead as well. Reese got a 7-yard run for a touchdown in the third quarter, his second TD of the game. And the final 2 touchdowns, Macias got a 5-yard run for a score, and then Reese a 4-yard run, his third touchdown of the game. Remember, he started as a receiver in the contest, ended up being the third quarterback to see action in this game. Again, 41-37, Eagles getting the 4-point win over El Paso Parkland. We're going to take another 2.5-minute break and get you all the stats as you're listening live to the Hobbs Eagle postgame show on Cool 95.7, HobbsAmerica.com.
Welcome back to Cool 95.7, where we're bringing you action at football from the Watson Stadium Memorial, of course. As the final score, Hobbs Eagles are victorious, 41-36 over the El Paso Parkland Matadors. I'm just going to get you some numbers here as we got this great victory, and the defensive interception at the end was the icing on the cake.
Let's look at, first of all, the losing cause for Parkland, who's now 0-3 on the season. Their leading rusher, as expected, Macias, was 36 carries, 136 yards in the loss. Reese, who was playing wide receiver, then quarterback, he got quite a bit of rushes, and I'm kind of wondering why he might not be in contention for the quarterback role. But 18 carries for 88 yards for him. Those were the two big rushers. They had a couple other guys. Martinez came in the second half, 7 for 68. Perez, 3 for 8. A couple of guys in the negatives as well. So they finish up in terms of the running game for Parkland, 225 yards in the rushing for El Paso Parkland. In their passing department, just 71 yards in the air. Bernard had 3 catches for 16 yards. Enriquez 1 for 7. It was Reese 2 for 21 before he turned into a quarterback in the second half. Also getting 1 catch for El Paso was Antonio Enriquez. Macias with 1 catch for -3. Carter Perez had a catch for 6, and Silva 2 for 16. In terms of the total catches, 11 out of the 20 attempts for 3 different quarterbacks in this contest. In terms of the penalties for El Paso Parkland, they had 10 for 85 yards. Definitely did not help their cause, almost getting a field worth of those penalty markers in the game. They finished up with 2 interceptions. Of course, Castro, and that big one to finish up the game. A beautiful INT for the Eagles. Glum getting the second one in the contest. No fumble, actually 2 fumbles in the first half, so they had 4 turnovers in the game. Total of 6 punts as well, and 2 turnovers on down. So not all the pretty numbers you want to see, especially when you're on the road and trying to get your first win, but the Hobbs Eagles took care of business and got the victory. Flipping over to the Hobbs Eagles side, their leading rusher was Omarion Kennedy, 10 carries for 35 yards. His long was 9. Seamus Wright, the sophomore, had 9 carries for 8 yards. His long was just a 2-yard, 3 yards in this game, so didn't have a lot of breakaway runs in this one. Beatty had 8 carries for 2 yards. So the running game just wasn't there tonight. French had one to start off with a 5-yarder, but 51 on the ground for the Eagles in this contest, actually less than last week's game. But the passing department, they got maybe we correct those numbers. I just made a mistake there. 50 yards rushing. Sorry, I was one off there. The passing department is where they came through big time tonight. 288 yards. It was a Beatty-to-Beatty connection going on quite a bit, as Braddock Beatty had 6 catches, 102 yards. His last 2 were for touchdowns of 55 and 26. Only guy in triple digits for the Eagles. Henry, though, Gabriel Henry had 4 catches for 57 yards, including a 35-yard reception for a touchdown. Justice French had a catch for 40 yards in this one. Chavarria had 1 for 39 yards. Kennedy 1 for 16. And Ortiz had a catch for 34 yards, which was a touchdown. Hobbs getting a total of 14 receptions, and they threw a total of 25 passes in this ball game. So there's your numbers there. Finishing up with 288 pass, 50 rush for 338 yards. That was 42 yards better than Parkland, who finished with 296. Hobbs had 12 penalties for 80 yards. First downs definitely in the pocket of Parkland. They finished up with 19. Hobbs with just 6. But again, Eagles didn't have a lot of offense in that fourth quarter, kind of coasted into the victory there, but a lot of scoring in that third quarter where they put 3 on the scoreboard.
Well, they tried to do a little different things in the fourth quarter. Again, you're right. They may have been a little too relaxed, a little too conservative, as you mentioned before. You don't want to see that happen, especially with a big lead like that.
18-yard points, too.
Exactly, and 18 points, all of them, of course, happening in the third quarter, got them in the lead. And Hobbs just looked like they were going to roll into a victory. Still had the fourth quarter, though, and the Matadors had different plans, were able to run it down the field as best as they could, and they were doing it quickly, too. It wasn't like they were taking a lot of time. It only was like 2 or 3 minutes at most, and it looked like they were doing it expertly and getting the defense of the Hobbs Eagles on their heels. That's exactly how they wanted to do it. Just ran off short as far as time, as well as that interception just did not work out for them. But Matadors fought and fought to try to get back into this game, and they got really close.
Eagles getting the 4-point victory once again. Final score here, 41-37. Next week, the Eagles have Las Cruces High here at home, first district game of the season. They're 2-2. Mayfield, they beat them bad 50-7. Volcano Vista lost a close one by 3, a tough game up in Albuquerque, 27-24. Came back and knocked off Rio Rancho on the road back-to-back weeks by 13, 34-21. And this last night, they lost to Cleveland 35-25 after leading early in that game. So 2-2 record. They'll come in and take on the Hobbs Eagles, who are 2-2 as well, at least for the pre-district schedule. And Ron, you got some other Lee County scores for us.
Absolutely, and all these are finals. Eunice went ahead and got on top of Morton. They were in on the road. The final on that one was 38-26.
In Texas, right?
In Texas, yep. And Levington was able to eke one past Roswell. Roswell, of course, got that victory against Hobbs. And this time around, Levington is able to get a huge win against Roswell in Roswell. In Levington. I keep forgetting because it's marked all the way around. So Levington wins in Levington 35-21. And Jal gets their first victory of the season. Mercy Roll as well, something they're used to from the past. Gets 56-6 is the final. That happened in the third quarter. So whatever they were having trouble with in the last couple of weeks, they have fixed that, at least for 1 week anyway, and that's what they needed to do. They wanted to get back on the winning side. That's their first victory of the season. 1-3 is what their record is. And it'd also be duress if I didn't mention the fact that yesterday Hobbs JV once again went over to El Paso Parkland. Parkland JV is who they played and won that game huge. It was 63-6 was the final on that one.
Going back to the Lovington game, of course, they came into this game tonight number 1 in 5A on the Max Preps rankings, so they're definitely a team to be respected and pick off Roswell, who beat Hobbs last week, and, of course, Roswell, number 2 team in 5A last year, losing to Artesia in the championship. So Lovington trying to get back-to-back championships. But also last night, of course, Tatum lost on the road to Fort Sumner was the other Lee County game. But still, next week we've got the big matchup with Las Cruces, back to a home matchup here at Watson Stadium. Pre-game show at 6:40, kickoff at 7, and we will have that game here on HobbsAmerica.com, Cool 95.7, and also the Big Spirit remote starting at 4:30. So lots of big football action next week to get district going, Ron.
Want to give a quick shout-out to the class of 1994. You're out here, and I'm sure you're still worming around in the Hobbs right now. Welcome back, and hope you guys have a great one. Once again, a shout-out to class of 1994, and hurrah.
41-37 final. Eagles now 2-2 on the season, defeating El Paso Parkland. Thank to Tiffany Stuber back at the station. For Ron Gunner, myself, Ty Friend, we'll see you next Friday at 6:40 p.m. Have a great weekend out there.